Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate applying my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
Gladiator.
And welcome to the Titan Esports 2025 Gladiator League Fall. My name is Mojo Powell. I'm joined by Fel. Fel, I missed you last week. How you doing, buddy?
I missed you as well. I'm doing all right. I'm excited to get this games underway and see if these teams can hold on to their small playoff chances as we were talking about before.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just joining us now, we have a bottom of the standing Group B matchup with us. We have Fools 5 Mercenaries versus Flannel Esports Zephyr. And now this is week, I want to say 6, right? There are very large playoff implications on the line in this game. So we did a little math. I did a little digging of the rule book and tiebreaker things and such. Technically speaking, both of these teams are still in playoff contention. Now, Flannel Esports Zephyr is closer to playoffs. They are sitting at 2 and 3 right now, I believe. If they win this week and win next week, they should be in playoffs. They would have a tiebreaker thing against CBW, but CBW is their opponent for next week. So if they win 2 weeks in a row, they're pretty guaranteed in playoffs. Now, Fools 5 has a harder track. They do need to win both weeks. They need Blight to lose this week, and they need CBW to lose next week, and then they would make it. So like it's technically possible. It's a little not up to them, which is not the greatest feeling, but they can't count themselves out. They have to play this game like their playoff lives depend on it.
Right, and even if not, the only thing that you can do when you're at the bottom of the standings is crush streams, right? And so you kind of sit back and you're like, hey, listen, we got nothing to lose. We're 1 and 4, or we're 2 and 3, and Flannel would also have to win both and also have Blight lose, or like something, because it's only top 4 that make it. So they would also need a little help from other people, which they're hoping that dropping point Spartans gets in there. So they're hoping that Spartans wins against Blight, and that's kind of like what the general consensus is. And then they got to take it. But like I said, the one thing you can do is you can stop other people, and then that kind of comes with their own thing. And then a lot of these players also at the end of the split, even though the team's not going well and your season didn't go the way you wanted, you're still hopefully going to want to get picked up for next season. So you're going to want to at least showcase, hey, I have a pocket pick. It's a recon. Like, I want to play it so I can at least show that I can play support really well or do something. You know what I mean? So, so there's also that point in there too. So both of these teams, while on the outside looking in, they do technically have a small chance. Flannel a little bit better in the driver's seat, just based on the fact that they have 2 instead of 3 wins. But they're both showcase your talents, have some fun, and just get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, if you make a clutch play, some sort of hype moment, especially here on stream in the last weeks of the season, you can really, prove your worth for next season. And again, these teams are still in it. So we'll hop into the draft here in just a moment. Here we go. Right on cue. And we'll see what these teams have cooked up for this week. Remember, we are in Fearless Draft. Does not matter for game 1, but this is a Fearless Draft best of 3. We have Fools 5 on the blue side, Flannel Esports Zephyr on the red side.
And first, we're seeing out the way. We'll probably see a couple of, one-trick ponies, things that you're not normally used to seeing being banned, as the Shaco gets banned right away. There's one. So it's always a lot of fun in like the Plat and Below IBSG kind of stuff to just see that, like, why is Yasuo banned? Oh, because this guy has like 2 million mastery on it, or Zyra, or something weird that's normally not banned, or non-meta picks. So both of these teams looking to just sort of kind of go off, and we see Malphite banned, and then Silas is banned right after that. So if you're not going to get the Silas Malphite steal, then you're not going to be able to play either of them.
Yeah, everybody's favorite matchup. While we're in this phase, sort of waiting for bans, waiting for the first couple picks, Fel, I have a little pop quiz question for you. I did a little digging on our stats website, specifically for the Gladiator League. You and I have been preaching hard engage, especially from junglers and supports, this entire season. What champion, it is a jungler, has the highest win rate with a sample size of above 10 games?
In this league?
In this league, in the Gladiator League, in this split.
Oh.
It's a hard engaged jungler.
Hard engaged jungler. I'm going to go with... I know Amumu hasn't really been picked very much, at least when I've been watching. So I'm going to go with... let's go with Jarvan.
It was Amumu. Your first impulse was correct. Yeah, it was Amumu. With 16 games played, 75% win rate.
Yeah, it is one of my favorites, right? He sort of picks up a little bit of that AP necessity. He's uber tanky, especially if you're going to Liandry's. After you get the Liandry's, everything else from that point is tanky. You have a potential 5-man ult. You can flash ult. You have double bandage now. Like, I love the change that they made, a couple of years ago back to that champion. So I love to see it. I love to see, Maokai, Amumu, Sejuani, any of these like super tanks. Zac, I think, is a little bit hard to pull off here. I think a lot of over-engaged things like that for this skill level. But yeah, like the ease of the champion and how they've made it, that makes a ton of sense for me. So I should have just stuck with the Amumu.
I know, but your second guess happened to be our first pick this game as well. We do have a Jarvan on the blue side, which would be in the hands of Aragon. Another hard engaged jungler, right? Point and click CC with the Cataclysm there on the ultimate. In this similar category to Zac, as you said, a little harder to pull off, has a tendency to sort of go in and die. Not always the tankiest of champions once he uses his full rotation, has a tendency to sort of get stuck in the middle of everyone and fall down. But with team fighting like he has on his team right now, with Misfortune and Orianna ultimates coming over the top, that's a powerful combination.
Yeah, and you and I talk about this all the time, and me specifically, I try to beat this into the teams as they're picking is have something that works well together, have a plan, and then execute the plan. If the plan doesn't work, like Jarvan goes in, the Ori ball misses because they flash out or whatever, like you still have the plan. You still have the ease of pulling that off. We saw in the meta, especially like in higher up, like the Nocturne Orianna. So as he comes in, but it's not the easiest thing. There is a little bit of a delay on it, so the ball actually, goes at a different spot. But like Jarvan, so easy. He goes in, whether the play is a good play or not, you pull all the ults. I mean, you have a Rel now as well, and then beefy Cho'Gath. Like, I absolutely am loving Fools 5's draft here, just with how tanky they are and the ease at which they're going to be able to do things, because Cho'Gath's Q at level 5 is going to be on like a 4-second cooldown, maybe 3.5. So you miss one Q, throw up another one. I absolutely love their draft. They're basically daring you to try to get to this MF or this Orianna.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of what they've got going on over here for Fools 5. On the other side for Flannel, Zephyr, a bit of an interesting comp coming in. Victor in the mid lane, a little immobile, but good control mage. We love a control mage in this league. Tristana is sort of the pick that I'm looking at as a little interesting.
Ooh, I think you're cutting out a little
Tristana.
bit here. We missed what you said about the Tristana.
I was just saying they are two Tristana, which is like an interesting and somewhat risky blind for me there. There we go. We can see the final pick there was Trundle on R5. Interestingly, at least on this graphic, in the top lane into the Cho'Gath.
I love that, actually. This is going to create such an issue for them. Cho'Gath is going to struggle after level 6 into the Trundle. If he plays that correctly, Leoki's on this Trundle can literally wreak havoc and win the game by himself. We see it all the time. The top lane push meta is something that is really hard for these teams to deal with. So I'm excited as we're getting into this. I really, really like that they moved that Rumble into the jungle.
Yeah, me too. I mean, a really, really interesting sort of flex pick.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Advantage is going to escort his wave, so he's not really going to miss much. But yeah, I actually love the fact that they took the Nautilus and put him in the bot lane. I think that that's going to work really, really well with their R2 Tristana. Now that you picked it, though, you need to start funneling resources into this bot lane if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see the junglers have that intention. Sire is pathing down towards the bot lane on the Rumble, whereas Jarvan's pathing up. I know that at least Flannel had a ward on the blue side Raptors and saw Jarvan moving towards the top side. I don't know if the same is true for Fool's 5.
No, but I think that they saw the Rumble go towards the Raptors in the first part when they were just sort of 5v5ing. I don't think that he did anything like crazy to sort of mask his pathing, and they do see that the Raptors were taken already. They do have a good offensive ward there.
Oh no.
Yeah, not used to this. So I do think they're gonna know is Jarvan actually came mid.
Yeah, Flag and Drag forces out the flash from Dream Unforgiven, and this is sort of actually maybe even a little bit of a punish on that sort of Rumble clear thing, where if he'd been able to clear a second earlier, had actually gotten that blue buff down, he might have been there for the play. Now Aragon is quite low. Does he face check Prisma here? Prisma walking in, Aragon taken so low, puts down the flag, but can't find the drag. First blood over to Prisma Sire on the Rumble.
Yeah, and that was just such a good job of just like realizing this. And he's, I could only imagine he's like, hey, I burnt flash, whatever. And he's like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here, and then keep the Orianna in the wave and keep her in the lane, and then it's just a free kill because Jarvan had already used all of his cooldowns. I kind of like the fact that Aragon basically accepted his fate, didn't flash away or anything because Rumble would have been able to flash on top of him too. His cooldowns were still kind of meh. So I like that he didn't overreact there and burn anything unnecessary that he'll be able to use on the next gank or team fight opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key there. He keeps the flash up so he can use it aggressively. That's how you want to be playing on the Jarvan. You want an EQ flash type thing, flash R in these team fights. So gonna say, hey, nope, well played. I face checked you a little bit and I shouldn't have done that. I'll keep my flash up, take a kill. Now Rumble back into the jungle with the Faded Ashes and an Amp Tome. So the clear speed will improve greatly off that first recall.
Yeah, and not just that, but he'll actually have a lot of damage potential up against these the grubs, especially as Jarvan returning.
Yeah, Aragon looking for a punish on the flash that was already blown from the Victor, but Dream Unforgiven's been playing this lane so darn well that the Orianna not there to help. Now Crockpot taken quite low by Gnome Reaper. Ignite down from Mordecai, though. No sums used for the side of Fools 5, but are going to have to back off with Rel taken a little bit too low. Now we see Ori TPing back to the mid lane. I assume Victor will follow.
Yeah, and one thing that I would like to note here is that I 100% would have expected my support to take Exhaust here into a Tristana. The MF is going to be able to trade pretty well, but if you get caught up by one of these Mordecai hooks on the Nautilus, like that could be really, really bad for you.
Oh, this is a straight up kill. This has gotta be a kill. There we go. Leox with a solo kill on the top side takes down Woke Up Sigma. The Subjugate is just so powerful in this matchup. You see Cho'Gath had no flash going into the play. Now Mordecai very low. Actually flashes into the Flagon Drag, but the Dragon does fall to Prismasire. Nice shockwave from Derpy. Takes a kill onto Mordecai though, but the Feat of Warfare will go to Flannels. Now trying to back out. Can Prismasire escape? Has the flash. Dream Unforgiven, however, doesn't have flash on the Victor. Ignite is down onto him. Flash in from Crockpot. Mount up will get him at the last second. There we go. But will fall to the tower on the Rel on the backside there. 4-3 in terms of kills for Flannels, but the Rumble escapes with the Dragon.
That was aggressive, as I think Ori is going to try to do something here as well in the mid lane, but doesn't get it. But yeah, if you see over here, I actually really like Mordecai's play over here, where he's just like, I'm going to wait for this Jarvan, and he sits over on the top side, and as soon as they see him come in, Mordecai flashing over, I think it's kind of like a little... Yeah, he's just trying to see which side he goes on to here. But, yeah, little cheeky play by Mordecai. A good follow-up here from Derpy on this Orianna to get that kill and at least get something for your troubles there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are back into more bot lane action, though, out of the replay. Crockpot taking Gnome Reaper quite low. Now in on a Mordecai. Has no flash on the Nautilus. Gets a shield, will be able to walk out. Actually, queuing back in, gets the root on a Crockpot. Nice damage. Actually, no return fire. Assumed there was a crash down there that Nautilus was dead, but he's okay. Yeah, I completely agree. Huge shockwave from Derpy makes what otherwise would have been a bit of a disaster play into a decently fine game state for FFM. Not down any amount of gold, really. Did lose the Drake and lost the Feat of Warfare, but that's about it. As now the Grubs have spawned. First move is Flannel Zephyrs, as Aragon have to EQ out of there. No bot lane is roamed up, though. This is a pure 3v3.
Yeah, and I think whoever... you have Flannels a little... or FFM a little bit kind of out of position here, as there's 3 members of FFM trying to... basically converge on top of Flannels, who's already got control of this, and Cho'Gath has to go up to that top wave. A good job by Leox to sort of, create that pressure and not allow them to come in. But you do have Cho'Gath ult, and you do have double smites here. Never mind.
Yeah, the EQ just barely doesn't connect for Aragon. Walks in the middle of everyone, gets pulled down. Another nice shockwave from Derpy, hits too, but he's not going to find anything off the back of this. Maybe a kill onto the Victor at the very minimum. Feast onto the Rumble. Did take down Prismasire though. Flash over the wall from Derpy, but the Q is too slow. The ball was just slightly too far away, as Dream going to try his best to escape with the Victor. Oh, I think Derpy maybe could have gotten the kill if he kept going, but none of the Grubs fell. So that's end up being just a 2-for-1, I guess, in favor of Flannel Zephyr, as Aragon died at the very start of that fight. But really tense, and they might just come back in 3v3 again for the Grubs. The big winner here, though, is the Trundle. Now 3-0, pushing into the tower, as hold on to that thought, as we got more fighting down to the bot side. Crockpot taken really low. Explosive charge just barely. Not enough damage, and the Ignite doesn't take him down either. Now CO flashing in on the Gnome Reaper. Doesn't have the damage either, and the barrier goes. Oh my god, no kills yet in the bot side. Now can Mordecai escape? As soon as he has that Q up, he should be out. No kills on the bot side. Lots of summoners burnt.
Yeah, that was just such a long fight there as we're about to get into this grubs. And once again, it's basically everybody is over here. But Dream Unforgiven is not going to get caught out. Aragon on this J4 just barely missing, but they do end up getting the kill onto the Rumble.
Works out for him in the end, though. Gets the Cataclysm onto the Rumble. Rumble had no ult from the last fight, as now Derpy going forwards gets a kill onto the Victor as well. Leox caught out on the Trundle. We'll see if he can pick anything back. Silence hit with the Rupture, 3-0. Fools 5 Mercenaries salvage the play and come up huge in this top side.
Yeah, and one thing that we also need to point out too is that Woke Up Sigma actually got 2 feast stacks on champions in that extended 3v3 v3 over these grubs. So that's huge, because now he doesn't have to blow it on his minions, and he can just basically forever scale, and that gives him another option for 6 other times where he's able to actually use his ult just for growth purposes, as we're going to check this one out again. And Aragon, I thought he actually went in a little bit too far, but Dream Unforgiven just separates himself from the team here a little bit, and really, really good play by Derpy here to just get this Ori ball here in a second. As Sire, instead of doing that last attack, just kind of gave that up there. But this time, Unforgiven not getting away from the ball, and then as we see here, Leox just getting kited 3 ways. Keep the Trundle in the middle, and then eaten up by Sigma.
Yeah, really well played. The huge kicker there, I think, was that Jarvan had his ultimate up and nobody on Flannels did, right? So I think the ultimate that he didn't get to use in the first exchange, right, just died too quickly to even pop it, ended up paying off in the second half of the fight.
Yeah, it's a couple hundred extra damage that you're getting out of that. So really, really, really well played. Good job. I don't know how much I love this play from Leox. I think that you were winning the 1v1 against the Cho'Gath for the most part. I'd like to see him just trying to scrap that a little bit more, but it looks like they're trying to get a big play down here on the bot side, as it's going to be 4v3.
Yeah, the second dragon has spawned. We'll see what they can do with the equalizer in the bush. Decent angle, takes a lot of damage on a crackpot, but Dream Unforgiven is just blown up by the bullet time. Got stuck in the Cataclysm. The Victor is down before the fight even really kicks off. Half health for Mordecai and Prisma. Crockpot wants to go back in, doesn't quite have the angle, and a bit uncoordinated from Flannels. Fools 5 punish.
Yeah, and Derpy's over there on the top side blocking their escape. He might get a free kill here on the Ori, as I think the Rumble just gets away, and Leox comes back up to the top lane here. We see Sigma he's struggling on this mana. When you don't build any mana items on Cho'Gath, it can feel really, really bad, as I like that Leox is just basically bullying him out of any XP, but FFM taking the Drake, here to around a 13-minute mark, so getting themselves the grubs and the second Drake. We always talk about how like the tempo of the game can be told by like when the Drakes were taken. Like if the first team takes the first, second Drake, and then you lose the third, fourth, fifth, or third and fourth to the next to the other team, like, yeah, your early game was good, but you did something to mess up. And I kind of feel like that's what Flannels is doing here. They're now down 2k gold. They've lost the last 2 objectives. They've lost the last 2 team fights. And FFM showing how easy their comp is to pull off here, as you saw with the Ori not even being there, and they still win a 3v4.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that ease of execution is huge. Excuse me. I completely agree. Orianna not even necessary in the last team fight. If we just pick one target together, right? Cataclysm, bullet time, these types of things, putting them on top of one another, that's so easy for Fools 5 to win team fights. Now, Sigma trying to pull the wave actually gets a couple tower shots onto Leox. Kind of funny there. Trundle has to run out. Has a mega blast cone though, so he'll escape just fine. Cho'Gath struggling in the matchup, but not going to die on this push. Has his flash up. Totally safe. Trundle going to take a recall.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that play. You're not going to get full damage if your minions aren't there. Also, it's very easy to die to these turrets. Like you're going in, you're like, oh, I'm going to hit it, and then you're like, oh crap, I'm taking damage. And now to get in or out, it's going to cost me 3. As they're going to try to punish him here.
Yeah, teleporting back into the middle of 2, not the best move sometimes. Cataclysm down onto Leox, but he's kind of winning this fight. Has the Rav Hydra, put the Subjugate down already. We'll see, falls at the very end there. Sigma didn't quite get the feast stack, maybe didn't have it up, but yeah, a bit of an overextension from Leox. He was the one on Flannel with the lead, right? And now teleporting right back in, giving that lead over to the Cho'Gath. Really, really dangerous spot for the game.
Yeah, and that's one of those things too where you're just like, "God, I just want to get back in there. I want to get back in there." And they're like, he's going to teleport to the lane here. He wants to keep this pressure up. So you call your jungler up, and that worked out perfectly where you're just like, hey, that plan worked, you know? So really, really good job by them to call that out, knowing that it was going to happen. And then he just played right into their hands there. And he had the feast up. Sigma had the feast up, but he is struggle busting on this mana here.
Yeah, you're right. It was probably a mana issue. A nice little play in the mid lane there while we were talking about it. Got the flash blown from Derpy on the Orianna Prisma with a nice gank. Didn't have to commit any ultimates or summoners of their own. Now, the Rift Herald is up. Whether Flannels wants to contest it or not is a different question. Prisma standing on a ward here, doesn't have backup. Victor has not moved yet. Trundle hasn't moved down either, and Derpy wants to collapse. Pops the shockwave on a Prisma. Sigma flashing forward, following the flash of Prisma. Not gonna find him though. The Rumble just barely too fast. Gonna get out of that. Now Aragon taking low, has to flash out of the Equalizer. Arcane Storm on top as well, but Sigma totally healthy, looks pretty fine. They're gonna be able to walk this one off, but the Herald might now go back over to Flannel Zephyr.
Yeah, and this is FFM doing the same thing that Flannels did last time, where they blew all their ults, and then they had no follow-up for the fight after. Is it looks like Sigma and Derpy are going to try to contest this. Sigma does have his feast stack ready to go, but that is the only ult that's up, and Aragon and Derpy might have enough, but...
Aragon over the side might burn down at the last second there. He does burn down, and the Herald goes to Prisma as well. Huge play for the side of Flannel Zephyr. Now, can Derpy get out? Got his flash blown on that mid wave before. I don't think he can. Getting slowed up by the Rumble, and another kill over to Prisma Sire. The Rumble explodes to life in this game. Picks up the Herald, picks up 2 kills, and the Cho'Gath fell as well in that fight. Huge comeback play from Flannel Zephyr. They're really back in it now. Does Prisma want to continue the play onto the bot side? Hook in from Mordecai as, yeah, CO taking low, has to flash out with the Ignite on top of him. Crockbot doesn't quite have the flash up yet. Crash down to Magnustorm, pretty big. Oh, but Mordecai cancels the bullet time with a nice hook on the Nautilus. Doesn't fall either. Rocket jump forward from Gnome Reaper. Not going to have enough damage to take down CO, but another kill over to the side of Flannel Zephyr. This game just broke wide open.
Yeah, potentially here, and I love the heads-up play from Mordecai to hold his Q. Like, they did end up blowing the ult, and they get all the flash, and they get everything out, but as soon as Crockpot comes in and blasts the ult from the Rel, he, Siafra on the MF starts the bullet time, and he kept his hook ready and available, so as soon as that happened, he had a nice, clean, way in there, and just completely stops that, and that could have been a turned around 2v3 that went 3 kills for FFM, but Mordecai making sure that didn't happen. I really, really love that play. Very, very heads up from the support, and you love to see that when you're the Tristana. Oof.
Yeah, you sure do. What you don't love to see is your Orianna falling so quickly at the start of the fight. Aragon falls as well. Neither had any flash up, and Flannel Esports Zephyr are pushing the lead they got. They took resets. They got right back onto the map. They found 2 quick picks in the mid lane line brush, and they're going to get a second dragon to their name as well.
Yeah, and Aragon should have some words for Derpy there, because Derpy should have some words for Aragon after that play, because that should not happen. You should never trap any of your carries in your Cataclysm, but I think he just got a little bit overzealous. Maybe didn't realize that she was in there, but yeah, he definitely got them both killed there. Unfortunate, but sometimes the other team makes mistakes, and Flannels is there to just capitalize on it, where that play shouldn't have even happened. That should have just been a given away drag and say, okay, that it's one objective, but instead they wanted to play for it, and they wanted to try to get around, get caught out, and then Jarvan kind of gives them 2 kills instead of just 1.
Yeah, and that's a big issue with the Jarvan Cataclysm, right? As you said earlier, when the Cataclysm is down, if Jarvan's stuck inside of it, it's so easy for Rumble to just pop an Equalizer over the top. Even if the Jarvan is an enemy, right? That's still terrain. That's still going to force people into playing into certain patterns. You can get a nice Equalizer down in 7-2, 2 full items completed on the Rumble. Prisma will blow them up if given the chance. 8,000 gold here on the Rumble, richest member in the entire game.
Yeah, and I was all, happy or worried or centered on the Trundle pickup in the top lane. This Rumble in the jungle is destroying this game right now. And they did make a couple mistakes, as teams are going to do, but, the true test of a team is like when you make those mistakes, can you minimize the outcomes from the other side? And they have done a very, very good job. As I think Trundle just stole the Gromp away from Jarvan as well there. So yeah, just really good execution from Prismasire on this Rumble right now. I really, really do love the control that he's showing and the poise that he's giving his team.
Yeah, I do want to shout out our production team real quick. They highlighted something very funny on the screen there. Prisma took first strike on Rumble Jungle, which maybe not the conventional pick. It is a classic Rumble rune. I think maybe you just went to the suggested Rumble runes, but it's done like a little 200 damage or something like that. Not tons of abilities to proc it. Mordecai now maybe a little overextended. Pops a depth charge onto the Cho'Gath. A good amount of damage on the Aragon. Mordecai having to kite back. The Otacon is down for the side of Flannels, though. Mordecai will be the trade. Now, can the rest of Flannels get out? I believe they can. Trading one for Otacon, that's fine.
Oh,
Ooh,
no,
it's not fine if they have to trade more, though. Flag and Drag finds Prisma in the bush. Cataclysm and bullet time over the top. A lot of shutdown gold going over to CO. That's not what you want. And now they might be able to dive this tower or just take it down completely. Leox having to teleport out, no way to cancel it. So they are going to pick up the top tier 1. Not getting another kill, but good fight back from Fools 5. They lost the Otacon, but they get a good amount of gold in return.
Yeah, they do, and that never should happen. That is a greedy back. Prismasire after this match is just going to be kicking himself for that, because against a team that, you know, if this game was like a little bit, I mean, can't get much closer than 200 gold, but it does feel like, you know, you're all there. But, you know, that was a huge shutdown given over as well. So, you know, that could potentially be the momentum and the gold swing that FFM needs to, like, get back in this game and, you know, make up for the stats that they lost on the Otacon, because like you said, they also get the turret out of that. So very, very big gold swing for the side of FFM, and basically, you know, nail it off of a very, very greedy back from Prisma.
Yeah, and importantly, the shutdown gold on the Rumble did go to the Misfortune CO. She is quite strong. Honestly, probably the biggest point of power for the side of Fools 5. And if they want to win these team fights, especially around this next dragon that will be spawning in a minute and a half, they're going to need Misfortune to be there. The Shockwave is great, does a lot of damage, but the majority of your team comp's explosiveness is going to come from landing a nice Cataclysm bullet time.
Yeah, and I really would have liked to have seen another item besides the Lord's Dom as a first damage item. There's no tanks on the side of Flannels except for the Nautilus, who...
or Trundle when he presses R, I guess.
Yeah, so I really would have liked to have seen anything... A big fan of Collector, especially during bullet time, because you get so much, you know, damage on ticks, basically. So really, really easy chance to collect that. If there's anybody low and you throw that bullet time in there, you're gonna get the kills and give yourself a lot more gold. So, but 302, and you're doing the, you know, you're doing the thing right now, and you're basically holding your team up with your ults. So. Can't complain too much. Just have to hope that it doesn't bite him in, you know, in the end.
Yeah, we'll see if that item choice was a mistake or not. We'll see how much damage you can put out in this team fight. But I want to call attention to these minion waves for the side of Flannels. They pushed in top side with Leox, who doesn't have teleport, but is going to run down to the fight now. They pushed in the bot lane as well. That bot wave is going to go unanswered. It's just going to fall with no one to catch it. Orianna did get to catch the top wave, does have teleport. It's going to try to walk down over the dragon now, though, spawning in about 2 seconds. Mid wave, completely even pushed in for both teams. However, there is no tower here for Fools 5, and there is one for Flannels. So Flannels feels safe enough. They got the mid push ever so slightly, and with the push in those other waves, that Orianna having to catch top, they've got the first move onto the dragon. They've got the vision control of the river. Aragon flashes in, maybe not in range for the rest of the play that he wanted to look for, though, just getting poked out. Hasn't cast a single ability, but did force Flannels back off the dragon and into their own jungle. Now they're going to pop a control ward in the bush, clear out the vision, and look to push back in. Unforgiven, putting up so much space in the team fight, really able to control the lane with the lasers. And there it is, Mordecai from out of vision grabs a first kill. The Jarvan is down before pressing a single spell. Crockpot's at the back with a Magna Storm, but will fall. Bullet time over the top is not on anyone. A double kill to the Victor and one to the Tristana means a third Drake is going down to Flannels with 3 dead on Fools 5.
Yeah, and just a really, really bad play that just started from the flash from the Jarvan. I think he wanted to flash ult the Dream Unforgiven on this Victor, and Victor, good spacing, does not get caught out by it. Derpy ulting just the Nautilus, and then Siofra ulting just the Nautilus, who was already dead, was not the play and hit you wanted to have. That is not how your comp works. Unfortunately, just a really, really bad, follow through and, like just a good decision and a good idea just was not executed properly. And when you have a comp like this that is so easy to use and it's very simple and it goes and like when you hit the button and it works well, it's great. When you mess up like that and you have these ults that are meant to hit 3 or 4 people and they hit absolutely nobody, there is absolutely no follow-up potential for your team, and that is showing right now. As after that play, Flannels is also going to get a free Baron because there is absolutely no vision on the side of FFM here.
Yeah, completely uncontested. Nautilus going to clear out those blast cones, push away any chance of steal, and that Baron's just gone. Rumble absolutely melts these neutral objectives. And yeah, I agree, a bit of misexecution in the fight there. It's really hard to follow up if you're Zephyr or Derpy when your Jarvan goes in and dies like that so instantly. They needed to follow on the rail engage possibly, but they were like too completely zoned by the Victor to even be close enough to the rail to follow on what was a decent crash down. So yeah, missed execution. We're going to need to see a little bit more out of the Jarvan, or we're going to need to see Crockpot going in first on those engages if Fools 5 want to come back. Objective bounties are now up. They're down almost 4k gold, looks like about 3.5. It'll be more if they get some of the standing gold from these waves. Leok's going to be a terror in the side lane. Look, he's up 3 levels on Sigma.
Yeah, this is just kind of what happens with the Trundle. It is what we were talking about prior to the thing. I love the fact that he went with double lifesteal here. So the Bork and the Ravenous, if you ever catch him within side of your own wave, there is no way you are going to be able to damage him enough. The healing from Trundle on those 2 items alone is huge. And then it looks like he's going to be building the Hull Breaker as his 3rd item, more than likely. So I agree with you. I think that Crockpot should be the one pressing the go button on these instead of the Jarvan. I almost would have liked to have seen Aragon go for a little bit more of a tanky build.
Oh my god.
Out.
Yeah, here we go. Here comes the fight. Bullet time over the top. It gets hit by the depth charge again. Mordecai so good at the disengage. One is down already as Aragon fell. Another will fall to the
and a 3rd one going down.
3 lanes as well.
Yeah.
Blue team's turret has
Ooh,
been destroyed.
Flannel Zephyr coming out huge in this fight. This should just be the end of the game. Only 1 left alive. Derpy not going to be able to contest this. Has no ult. Has flash. Not going to do anything. They're going to push in. Look at the Trundle damage. Look at the Tristana damage. These towers are falling like butter. Flannel Esports Zephyr going to pick up game 1.
Yeah, and I really like the call on Mordecai on this Nautilus. This dude has saved their team multiple times this game. I don't think, there's nothing they can do. So like him on that Nautilus completely changed all the team fights that should have happened. I do think outside of the one mix execute over on the Dragon side by FFM was unfortunate, but every other time that they had everything set up and Siofra was going to come over the top with a bullet time, Nautilus was there to basically stop it. And like, kudos to him. I think that was such a good job by him to know his role. When they went for one of the dragons, he literally just killed himself in their jungle, right? Like, he literally was just like, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna die, or it was the Otacon play. So like, there was no play for Otacon. It was literally just Mordecai walking up there and just standing there and being like, hey, come get me. And so
he did it on Dragon too. On the first Dragon where he flashes into the Jarvan flag and drag, right? Like, just to prevent any chance of a steal. Really, really huge job. Amazing for Mordecai. Especially, like, you were the sole frontliner on this team, right? You were the only tank they've picked. Trundle, not an effective frontliner in team fights. He wants to be splitting these maps, right? So Mordecai playing so well as sole frontliner, saying, look, I'm gonna die a couple times. It's fine. I'm Nautilus. Only died 3 times anyway. Got tons of disengage options and allowed his carries to pump out the damage as they had. And look at the damage amounts from Rumble and from Victor. They controlled space so well in those fights. They got so much damage off. A really, really, like, close game that just kind of burst wide open about halfway through and then didn't look close at all after that.
Yeah, there was at one point where FFM after the first dragon they ended up having a 3v3 and then a 3v3 again, and they ended up winning the second time around because they actually had their ults instead of Flannels having them. They did a really good job of sort of keeping the pace where it needed to be. Got a 2k gold lead and then threw it at the dragon, and then just from there it just kind of snowballed out of their control. Like you said, Trundle was up by 3 levels, 4 by the end of it over Sigma. I think he solo killed Cho'Gath under his own tower when that big last fight came up. So everybody on this team played their role really really well. Rumble in the jungle, hey, good job, man, because that was something that I was like looking at like I hope you could play this, and he did such a great job. And so kudos to everybody on Flannels. That was a really really good job. And Dream Unforgiven making Victor look like a poke champ in
Yeah.
there, because before a lot of those fights they were already half health before they could even get in.
Exactly. How can you contest the objective on Jarvan? Like, truly, I barely even blame Aragon for some of those. How can play? I'm at half health before the dragon even spawned. Like, can't do anything. There were a couple mishaps for sure. The flash in at the dragon with no ult to follow was a little egregious. But we'll see if they can go back to the drawing board and contest game 2. We saw some nice glimmers of hope, right? Especially in their carries. Derpy and Seofra got
He did a very
really
good
good damage in some of those fights. They were playing really well. Derpy great in lane, got some really, really good early fights. Same for Seofra. So Fools 5 can fight back, but a strong start for Flannels. We're going to go to a quick break. Stick around. We'll be back for game 2. Welcome back to game 2 of, as Fel said, the Gladiator League Week 6. We have Flannel Esports Zephyr versus Fools 5 Mercenaries. He missed game 1. A tight back and forth between two sort of scrappy team fighting comps, but ultimately Flannels took the lead in a couple of really explosive fights and some good macro movements.
Yeah, and they had the 4-1. They had a trundle, and that's a win con in and of itself. Unfortunately, Cho'Gath woke up Sigma wasn't able to contain him on the Cho'Gath, no matter how much Aragon came up there. They had a couple of good plays that it should have led to them, being able to take that lead. But as easy as it was to know what you want to do with that comp, there was just a little bit of misexecution. I would like to have seen them maybe pull out an Amumu or a Sejuani instead of the Jarvan. I just think the extra tankiness into a team with a Victor, with Tristana, with Rumble would have been really, really nice to have seen. I think that maybe that could have been a little bit of a difference. I think Aragon on the Jarvan did really well until it came to the 5-on-5s. And so I'd like to see them maybe clean that up a little bit, maybe make some a little bit better decision making, or press your ult and hope for the best, if anything.
Yeah, press R feels like a bar that we can hit. And there are plenty of champions left in the pool in order to do that on, especially in the jungle, as we were mentioning in game 1's champ select, and as Fel and I were talking about in the break. Amumu, he's right there. He's a great jungler. He engages. He does a similar thing. He's maybe even a little safer than Jarvan. His AoE engage is a little better. His clear might be a little faster. I wouldn't mind an Amumu.
Yeah, and I think that, if you practice the champion enough, Jarvan is probably a better champion in the hands of somebody that has the fingers for it than in Amumu. I just feel that maybe that was probably not the play to go to, especially into that team comp. We were saying in the break that the Victor basically was zoning them out almost by himself, and by the time that they were ready to go in, they were 2/3 health, half health. So I'd like to see a little bit better of a draft from FFM that really can showcase how good their mid laner is, because I feel like that's a missed opportunity on the Orianna for Derpy, that now, with how well he played that champion, I'm interested to see what he pulls out for game 2, because I really do feel like that should have been a win for FFM.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I hope that the game 1 loss does not turn them off from the type of team composition that they were playing, right? That's the exact kind of thing we want to see in this league. And especially their carries showed that they were up for the task, right? Their carries really were playing well in those fights. Maybe we want something a little stronger on the top side. Maybe looked like they got counterpicked. There's only so much you could do, but maybe something a bit safer. Something that has a little more team fight capability and fits in more on theme with the rest of the comp. But we'll have to see what they go for. Is the bans here exactly the same as game 1?
Exactly the same. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to worry about banning what was played last game, so you're not going to have to worry about the Trundle. You're not going to have to worry about a Nautilus in the bot lane, which we were both saying. Mordecai, kudos to that play on the Nautilus. Almost played it to, I mean, I don't want to say perfection, because obviously, we're down here in the dregs, but really, really well heads up, knew exactly what his role was, and I would love to see him on maybe a Thresh or something along those lines, to where he can basically do the exact same thing. As we see the Diana coming through now. I wonder if that's going to be going over to Aragon, because I did like the skirmish plays that Aragon was using on the Jarvan. I just didn't like the ultimates in the 5v5 team fights, as we're going to see an Ashe and Briar coming in on the side of Flannels. I really, really hate that champion so much.
Yeah, that's a heck of a pick. Briar, not one we expect to go through any fearless game, but especially game 2, presumably a pocket pick of some kind for Prisma in the jungle. Only really one place it can go. The response on the other side will be Kaisa Morgana, presumably the bot lane for FFM.
Yeah, and I mean, that could be a mid lane. They could want Derpy on that Diana or Morgana, and either, flex those into the... Yeah, so... but I do really, really like this Briar. I hate that champion. You buy anti-heal on your team, and then she's still healing for like 600 a pop. So I really don't understand the mechanics of that champion and how it works so well. But yeah, I'll be interested to see if they, you know, don't mess up their E and they're not just running into turrets and stuff, because that can happen too. But interested to see how this goes as we see the Ornn and the Scion are banned out from Flannels, and then the Seraphine and the Camille banned out on the side of FFM.
Yeah, it's a interesting look here. I like the Alistar for the side of Flannels. It's again a bit more of a disengage pick oftentimes than an engage pick. And again, we saw Mordecai be so effective on that in game one. A couple tanks banned away for the top side, and they are going to save their RFET counter pick for their top laner. Again, loved it in game one, paid off dividends in the lane. Luck's going to be the lock-in for Unforgiven in the mid lane, and Garen over on the side for Woke Up Sigma.
If that's not a Morgana support, I want to see a Taric right here. Taric is so good into this comp. I don't know if they're going to pull that, but it's going to be.
Oh, that's not Taric.
No, that's not Taric at all.
Oh, that is about the opposite of Taric.
Man, I really don't like that, but you know what? I haven't seen Crockpot on it, and Siafra, she played really well on the MF, and you know, a Pyke, Kai'Sa, Morgana, Diana, all of them will give Kai'Sa the ability to ult in or ult around whoever's coming at them. And then Mordekaiser picked up into the Garen. I think I like the Garen in that matchup just a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how the matchup goes itself, but as far as team composition goes, Flannel's maybe a touch more. No, they're both like a little similar. Look, FFM is a plan. We're going in. Like, if there's one thing we know, Fools 5 are going in. We are all pressing R at the same time, and we are clicking forwards, then hands off the keyboard, and like sort of see what happens. You know what I mean? And look, if I'm Flannels, what do I want when that happens? Honestly, I want an Alistar and I want a Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and I also want an Ashe to be able to disengage and lock down so that the Lux can follow up and Briar to come in. And if they're standing together in a corridor, Briar ult comes in and all four members are feared except for whoever is black shielded. So I do think this is going to be a hard task for FFM to come through. I would have liked a tank as a support, especially a Taric into this. You know, you can't heal what you don't damage. And it's so good in the Alistar, because anytime that Alistar goes in a 2v2 or a 2v3, even if the Briar's down there, like Taric can just sit there and hit a minion and heal his team up, you know? I feel like this is a missed opportunity from FFM to play something a little bit better. But if Crockpot is really good on this Pyke and Siafra plays Kai'Sa half as well as she played the MF, then this bot lane could end up going their way, as Alistar into Pyke is not the greatest. He has a lot of escapability. You can, headbutt in, and he could dash away before your pulverize can go off. So there's a lot of potential for outplay, and also we'll see by the runes if Sigma is going to be playing a split pushing Garen, or if he's going to phase rush and then just try to create as much havoc as he can in the back line of Flannels. So this could go either way. I really do like FFM's ability to get picks and to play off of those picks, but I feel like once again Flannels just has a much better team comp to sort of just play into this comp of FFM.
Yeah, I agree. I like what Flannels has, especially in relation to FFM. And as you said, a lot of the onus is going to be on Crockpot. Now, when someone locks in Pyke, especially with this many supports left up in the pool, you have to assume they're a Pyke player, right? Like, you have to assume that Crockpot is confident on this champion, feels like he can perform on the Pyke, especially in lane. Like, look, it's a bit of a tall task. Yes, maybe good into Alistar, but Kai'Sa into Ashe, not fun. So unless Crockpot is really pulling out the moves in lane phase, like, it might be hard for FFM to really get a grip in the lane.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too, is that Alistar is so good into hook champs, because he can get hooked and then just headbutt pulverize, the ADC and lock them down. And with the slows from Ashe, it's going to be really easy for him to just have his stomp ready up and charge it all the way up and actually get a second stun off. So I do think that this is going to be a really hard lane for the side of FFM to pull off properly. But like you said, if they're going to lock it in with all these other good options into Alistar still up, they have to be a Pyke player, as we're going to get a little bit of a skirmish here.
Yeah, a
maybe
little
just gonna back
fun
off, yeah.
level 1 action. Morgana, good level 1, but would rather not take Q if she can avoid it. Not much Diana can do level 1. Garen, somewhat similar, so I don't expect any sort of real invade as a ward in the brush. Will give Flannels just that right amount of
Yeah, and I do like what Leokas is doing on this
can clear their
Mordekaiser
jungle
here.
on their own.
Yeah, holding this, holding his space over here and just stopping the Garen from doing it. I would have really loved to see once the Mordekaiser was picked, the Garen swapped over to Conqueror. I think that is going to be a very hard lane to really pull off this phase rush. You're going to see a lot of Garen having to back off after his initial engage and fighting. So and then try to wait for his passive to try to come up to heal up. As you know, now we're gonna get into this as game 2 is now officially underway. No invades, no nothing, and the teams are gonna start out 5v5.
Yeah, nothing fancy at level 1, but a couple of interesting champ picks that we'll have to keep our eyes on, specifically looking at the Pike in the bot lane and the Briar in the jungle for Prismasire. Now, look, played Rumble in game 1, clearly no stranger to these sort of odd picks as these top laners, okay, to duke it out level 1. The Q does miss from the Oaks. Conqueror stacked up with the passive, but not going to get a ton more damage there. Garen loves these trades because, as you said, he will just heal up with the passive. I do want to note, Leox, not a flash enjoyer as a player, clearly.
Oh.
Took Ghost on the Mordekaiser as well.
No, yeah, and that's kind of interesting to see, but I kind of like it. Derpy, I think, had a little bit of a missed opportunity to drop that pool down a little bit sooner, but maybe it was on cooldown, as they are going to see that the Briar is here, so I don't think that they're going to be able to get off any, easy, quick Briar steals or ganks coming over from the Raptors, so Morgana should be safe enough, but Sigma not going Conqueror is really kind of screwing him right now. I mean, it'll be fine for later when he gets, his Q off and follows up with Z and is able to just spin and win into the back line. But his laning phase is going to be really, really just not fun to play into this Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and that's showing here, taken down to almost no HP. Leox in complete control of this lane, has only popped 1 potion, where Sigma has popped both already. Will, as we said, heal back up a bit with the passive, but at level 3, not going to heal a ton, especially if Leox keeps hitting him like this. Now the health bar's about even, but Leox with all the pressure on the Mordekaiser, and this is kind of what we saw in game 1 too, right? Leox given R5 counter pick, and really, really abusing Sigma in the lane phase. And he was able to convert those leads in game number 1. We'll see if he can do it here in 2. Now, doesn't have the vision of the Diana on the skull. Actually sees her over the wall right there, probably, so we'll back off.
Yeah, and just like once this Mordekaiser hits level 6, like getting a gank off and being able to do anything is going to be really hard. So I do like that Aragon started on his red side into the bot and path top and hoping to catch Leox out, but Leox with good wards was able to stifle that and basically play that the way that he's supposed to. As now it's going to be interesting to see if Aragon can play into this bot and mid. Whereas Prismasire should be looking to gank this Garen as the wave kind of comes back towards his Mordekaiser.
Yeah, as you shouted out, Aragon is here in the bot side, not spotted yet, and they're quite far pushed up for Flannels. We'll see. This gank should work as Gnome Reaper has flash available. Actually, doesn't have flash available. Good pet.
And they are going to get
Mordecai will get pulled back. Yeah, nice, going exactly where you want it to. CO picks up the first blood on the Kaisa. Just a great gank from Aragon, right? Sort of redeeming himself from what we saw in game number 1 as we pan back up to the top side here. Oh, Obliterate hits onto Sigma. No flash for Leox. Might not need it. Sigma has to flash out. Leox in complete control of this lane.
Yeah, Garen does still have teleport, so I would expect before Leox hits level 6 for Sigma to back here and then maybe teleport, give up a couple of these minions, because if you don't and Leox pulls you into the death realm, like, you're probably dead. But doing a good job of staying back, keeping off, using his passive to heal up along with the Doran shield. So maybe as we're going to get a second look at this, a really, really good job from Mordecai to basically stop Crackpot from being able to get on top of his ADC here. But outside of that, gets kind of caught up on his own here. I would have liked to have seen maybe a headbutt, or a pulverize first as Crockpot doing a really good job of waiting for his flash, so his dash basically locks him down, and the ignite coming out. So good job from FFM to pull that off. A lot was used there. I feel like Mordecai is going to be able to make better use of having the Hex Flash, and that's a lot of huge cooldowns for the side of FFM down. And we see Flannels is going to be trying to take this dragon now as a fight's about to pop out.
Yeah, this is a risky one. They're taking the dragon down numbers already. Lux is still at base. Crockpot with a huge Q and E combo gets in there, stuns up too. Reaper, no flash now under the tower. Doesn't have the bear left either. Crockpot hits another Q, but that's 2 kills to the side of FFM and a free dragon. However, over on the top side, Leox did finally get that expected solo kill. Sigma, I believe, hadn't backed yet.
Nope.
As we'll have to see what happens here.
Yeah, we're gonna see here. Is that, like I said, as soon as he steps up, the Death Realm's coming, and I can just see this coming right away. There's nowhere that Sigma can go. Should have backed. That is so greedy to try to just sit there. Leox had already burnt one of his backs, and he does get out of the Death Realm, kind of. Leox isn't hitting all of his abilities, but yeah, Sigma just. You got to back there. You have to do something as now he gets his Tiamat for the Stride Breaker first part build. But yeah, with Dream Unforgiven on the back there, they should have just kind of let that one go. I think that was kind of a little bit of a forced, hey, we lost something here. We need to make up for it. A little bit of a panic play for that Dragon Call. But, mistakes happen, and they did a good job of... basically, oh my god, the Qs. The Q systems. Just barely.
That's a really fun one. Yeah, nobody's hitting any
like
Qs, even in the top side, right? We watched Leox get a solo kill while missing like over 50% of his Qs in the exchange. But yeah, I completely agree. I do think it was a bit of a rushed force objective as we see Sigma trying a proxy, but Prisma is here, gonna stun him up on the Briar. Sigma has no flash available. No way he's getting out of this one. Here comes Leox. Will he be able to land the Death's Grasp? Doesn't even need to go for it. Sigma is just gonna accept defeat, walk back towards that second tower. Maybe thinks he can get a kill onto Prisma, though. Prisma taken really low. Oh, but a nice heal up there. Kill goes over to the Briar. Now, Leox did drop a good amount of farm for this, but really gonna be punishing for Sigma, who still has the teleport.
Yeah, I guess he ran back in the lane. He's saving it for game 3, maybe. I don't know why he's not using his teleport here. But yeah, I kind of liked as the fight's breaking out bot side.
Oh god, Mordecai just blown up immediately. A 4th kill over to Sio on the Kaisa. She is 4-0 now, has all the kills for her team. That is exactly the situation you want to be in as FFM, barring what's happening in the top side.
Yeah, and we talk about this all the time. Like, if you're down on one side, can you make a cross map play? And I think that FFM is doing a good job of this right now, or Flannels is doing a good job of this right now, where they're making the cross map plays where they need to. Oh, it's Prism Sire. Yeah, see, there we go. Still running.
Still chasing Aragon. Moonfall comes through. Prisma may actually be overextended now as Derpy's here on their own from the mid side. Aragon gets in with the reset on the E, grabs a kill with the Black Shield on her as well. Dream will get out with the Blast Cone, but overextension from the Briar. Look, sometimes there's nothing you can do. You press W and then you just sort of accept your death occasionally, but not the best play. Did steal away 1 grub, but 2 went over to FFM. So again, the Garen's very far behind, but they are huge on the rest of the map. Up in the jungle, up enormously in the bot side. 4 kills and 20 plus CS, up like well over half an item for the Kaisa. FFM sitting pretty.
Yeah, they're doing really well, and if they keep playing like this, and Crockpot keeps making the plays that he's making, that this lead is just going to balloon out of it. The one thing that you can say though is that like Garen being this far down is going to be basically useless. He's going to have no kill pressure. He's not going to be able to get on top of everybody. He's not going to be able to do what he wants to do. Whereas Ashe being really far down can still send an arrow from base and get the, catch the mid laner off guard. He can still, disengage. He can still perma slow. So I do think that Gnome Reaper on this Ashe is going to be a lot more useful than Woke Up Sigma is on this Garen. They just have to find a way to slow down this top Leoki's lead on the side of FFM if they want a chance to be able to win and stay in this game.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tall task. Really doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. Overall, though, they're up 2k gold, up the first dragon, and 2 grubs. They have the Feat of Warfare for themselves. One more dragon or herald, and they will get the Feat of Objectives, as I guess we could call it, as well. So in a good spot. I completely agree the top side is an issue, as we see Sigma not quite going to get chased down. Leox doesn't want to pop the ghost. No, Sigma has a flash available. We'll start healing up.
Ooh.
Okay in the farm department, but yeah, -1, unfortunately. We'll see. Oh, Mordecai flashing in, gets the headbutt pulverized, knocks back into the tower for Crockpot. Oh, but good flash out from the Pike is going to avoid the enchanted crystal arrow. Walks back up though. Gnome Reaper flashing in with the aggressive play. Oh, but here's Aragon, hits a 2-man moonfall. Siofra loves to clean those up. 6-0 on the Kai'Sa. FFM's bot side is striking huge in game 2.
Yeah, and such an unfortunate. They had such a good play there. You know, you get the Pike and then you flash forward on the Ashe. Like, you gotta know better. Even after that, there really wasn't any follow up that they were going to be able to get off of that. And then Aragon just being at the right place at the right time. I really love him coming in and then just flashing or eating forward, getting the ult off, and then securing that kill for Kai'Sa. And Woke Up Sigma is about to die to Prismasire once again here. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But this is the price you pay when you are in a losing matchup and you decide to proxy.
Yeah, another unfortunately punished proxy. As Sigma, half of his health disappears to 1 obliterate from Leox. Doesn't even need Prisma there. Doesn't even get an assist. That is a solo kill for Leox. Missed maybe 1 minion of XP for that play. Now the Dragon will go over to FFM on the cross map, which will get them the feats of strength. That will go over to FFM. They've been really good at cross mapping. As here comes the rest of the play. Crockpot going in. Mordecai stunned up. This is gonna be another one. Kill may have gone to Crockpot, but that's a Pike, man. The gold goes to Siofra anyway.
Yeah, and this bot lane is working out better than anyone could have expected. I don't even think that FFM thought it was going to go this well.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, and so, like we were saying pregame, if Crockpot can play this way, if they can get this, there is a lot of counter on the Pike to the Alistair, and we're starting to see it here is, Gnome Reaper pushed once again up into his tower, and Siofra's just going to be able to get free poke, and basically there's nothing that the Flannel's bot lane can do here to sort of stifle and stop this.
No, it's fairly doomed for them from this point on in the match. I mean, it has been for a little bit. 6-0-1 on the Kai'Sa. That is a huge shutdown, but she's CSing well too. I mean, like, if she keeps up this level of play, really, really going to be scary in this game. Is Sigma. Anti Feet avoiding the E, still pretty close to dying from Leox there, who is going to heal up with the Mordekaiser. Up around about 10 CS in the top lane, but 2 kills to a 0-3 Garen. Gold lead overall, though, still in favor of FFM. No objectives up for the next little bit, but as we see, the next dragon will probably be the fighting point. Flannels is going to have to contest this. You really don't want to give away 3 dragons this early in the game.
No, you really don't. And as strong as Leoki's is on this Mordekaiser, when it comes to the team fights, he's only going to really be able to pull 1 in. So if he kills the Diana, or if he kills the Garen, or kills someone else, they're still going to have their Kai'Sa up. And if he doesn't get the kill on the Kai'Sa, is Prisma and Diana fighting over here. Oof. And
yeah, a little bit of jungle combat. Goes the way of Aragon. Dream Unforgiven going to walk up into the jungle, see if he can catch a play. But no, Aragon gonna take the Hex Skate out eventually. Canceled the first one, didn't need it. But Diana winning the 1v1 on Briar is a little unexpected for me.
Yeah, it is for me too. And I think that he just caught him with his cooldowns off.
Yeah.
Briar, when you don't have your WQ up or you don't have your E, I didn't see whether she used it on the camp or not. Maybe just didn't have everything that they needed on that champion. So, good heads up play from Aragon on this Diana. 205 now, and Sigma dead again. Cannot walk up into the lane, and if you're Diana, you should not be anywhere near that Mordekaiser either.
Yeah.
So just unfortunate for Sigma on this Garen. He's just having a really, really rough time dealing with Leoki's today.
Yeah, this is kind of what game one looked like. Not quite this intense, but game one looked a little bit similar in the top lane solo matchup. Not even worth really a play-by-play call. He's just dead again, and we're probably going to expect to see that a couple more times. Doesn't have the item completed yet either. Oh, there we go. Stride breaker at the very last second, 15 and a half minutes. Does come through, but now the Dragon will be up in about a minute 50. Dream Unforgiven pushing up in the mid lane. This mid lane has sort of been the one source of stability in the game, right? These mid laners incredibly even in CS. Actually, missed both of those minions there for Derpy. So not quite exactly even in CS, but truly one off, about as even as they could be. Derpy's picked up a couple assists from like incidental plays. I think was there for that triple kill on the bot lane, but like really had very little to do with it other than numbers advantage. So I would like to see these mid laners get a little bit more involved in the action, and I imagine they will at this next Dragon fight.
Yeah, more than likely. And, Dream Unforgiven, this mid lane kind of went the exact same way as it did in game one, except for Derpy had the opportunity to have a lot more fights around him, and on the Orianna was able to, take advantage of a lot that is not just really there this time. They're not really fighting around mid lane. They're not really doing too much. Both of these junglers know their win cons, and for FFM it is the top side, it's the bot side, and for Flannels it's the top side. As Sigma caught again, and that Rylai's is doing so much work.
The barely even worth a shout out. Dead again in the top side, flashed in under the tower there for some reason I cannot quite comprehend. As you see a little action on the bot side though, this is a 2v3 as Crockbot has to flash out. Mordecai flashes in, stun will come through for the Briar at the last second. Pike will fall. Mordecai takes a few too many tower shots though, and CO is godlike on the Kaisa. I couldn't agree more. Now 7-0, has the barrier up as well if they want to keep contesting the Dragon, but Aragon taken really, really low in a topside jungle skirmish, so they won't be able to start it on spawn, I would imagine.
No, probably not, but still really, really good play from FFM's bot side. Again, they were outnumbered there. The Enchanted Crystal Hour unfortunately missed, and Mordecai had to take a couple steps too far. Did take a turret shot, and even with Alistar ult at level 1, it's just not going to be enough when Kaisa is this far ahead. We see now that she's sitting at 700 to Ash's 5,400. Still, if Gnome can hit those arrows and do a little bit better job of, hitting what she needs to and either starting or ending these fights on this Ashe, she still will be okay. But this is going to be a tall task. They're going to have to do something to take Siofra out of her comfort zone and to get her from being able to do what she's doing. And Leokis might be the one that's able to do it on this Mordekaiser.
Yeah, we'll see if he can. He is here. They're outnumbered in this fight, so see, FFM may just have to give away this Dragon. Garen doesn't quite look ready to teleport down to the fight again. Not that useful on the Garen at the moment. Probably just going to push out the tower. We'll see Derpy walking up to the Dragon 1v4. Not quite sure about that.
Yeah, as the Dragon ends up going over to...
From the final spark.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. That Dragon was just completely gone. I mean, nothing they could do. They do trade away the tower in the top side, but yeah, they accept, look, we're in a 4v5. Not quite the most winning situation, but here's a winning situation for FFM. They find one after the fact. Aragon in with the Moonfall, grabs one kill. Prisma Sire healing up as much as he can on the Briar, but Derpy gonna grab a kill as well. 2 kills after the play. FFM lose the Dragon, but I think that's still a win.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's showing now that Diana with the plated steel caps. I actually really like this. That does so much damage mitigation from the Briar, and at this point they don't even have any anti-heal yet. Obviously, Briar doesn't have any lifesteal items, but still does such a ton, especially when they get low. But they're doing such a good job so far of stifling this Briar pick and not letting it take over a game as we've seen it do so many times. So, now you have Aragon 306, you have Derpy who's silently just 104 and getting a little bit of a CS lead here, and Kaisa 701. Like, FFM is still in control of this game. The only thing is that's going to be, the big telltale is if Leokis can do something and either get onto Aragon or get onto Siofra and shut them down.
It'll be hard to do, though, as a Mordekaiser with no flash, right? Flash Death Realm in a team fight is a thing you can try to get off onto an AD carry, but Kaisa fairly slippery anyway. Like there are situations where not at this sort of a level disparity, this sort of an item disparity, but like later in the game, there are situations where you get in the middle of a team fight, you press R on the Kaisa and she kills you.
Yeah.
Right, like she's very slippery even in the death realm with that ultimate, with that E, with flash and barrier available. Like, especially playing this way with the lead that she has, it might be outplayable. As we see, Enchanted Crystal Arrow in the mid lane will stun up the Pike, stun for forever. Crockpot gonna see if he can get out of there. Doesn't have flash available. Burning down to the ignite. Aragon on a rampage in the backside of the fight, though. Oh, they didn't get Crockpot.
No, they did not. That is so unfortunate, but
Final Spark misses as well. Yeah, as we see the rest of the fight, CO for Legendary. Prismasire will fall as well. That is a double kill to the Kaisa. Now 9-0-1, I believe, as Leokis does grab Sigma in the backside of the fight. Again, expected outcome, but Aragon is in there, and he is so strong. This Kaisa is running the map, and FFM is going to move their way down to Otacon.
yeah, and I was saying earlier, I don't think that you want to teleport in his Garen, but he actually did exactly what he was supposed to do there. He took just enough away from that fight to allow the rest of FFM to get back into position, and then they kill the Mordekaiser, and now they're going to get the Otacon off of that as well. FFM is doing a really, really good job of basically utilizing all of their, their leads here to just sort of break this game wide open, and Flannels doesn't seem like they have much of an answer here.
Watch this base. Watch Kaisa's inventory. There we go. There's the Ginzus.
Yep.
There's going to be a little more coming through as well. Hearthbound, tier 3 boots. She had not backed in, I want to say like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like she hadn't backed since before the dragon fight. She's been sitting on like 1.5 items. That Ginzus has been ready for straight up at least 3 minutes. Was winning these fights anyway. This is such a huge spike for her, getting those gunmetal boots, getting the Ginzus as well. As the next dragon will be up in 1.5 minutes. They've got to be able to contest this one.
Yeah, they have to take this one here and just cement your lead, right? When you're at 3 dragons, then you basically make the other team have to play like this is the game, and like for you, if you don't get the fight that you want or you don't get whatever, it's not that big of a deal. Whereas, Flannels has to hit this. They have to get this. So, really good job so far. The shot calling, the play around, knowing that Garen is your lost cause and just playing around the rest of the map. FFM doing a really, really good job of showing how to play to a strong side, but Derpy getting a little bit too close for my comfort.
Yeah, we'll take the tower. Gonna get out with their life available. Sigma up the top side. This is look how it's gonna be, but Leox really hasn't had the split push pressure in this game that he had in the first one, right? Mordekaiser just not the same 1v9 pick that Trundle is in the side lane. Like, yes, has kill threat onto Sigma as we see here, pops the death realm. Sigma decently healthy, may be able to just kite this one out. Tanks a Q, E misses though. Sigma should be out of there pretty solidly. Yeah, it's gonna be able to run away even after taking the Mordekaiser ultimate. Ooh, barely jukes the E there at the last second. Wants to clear this wave out so he doesn't give over the entire tower, but they're getting a free dragon on the bot side during this top play.
Potentially, as there's a fight busting out in the mid lane, and Siofra gets another kill onto the Briar, and they're looking like they want to follow this up now.
Yeah, they're going to catch Dream Unforgiven as well. There it is, Killer Instinct in. Double kill to Siofra. Again, she is absolutely legendary on this guy. So look, we called it out in game 1. She played great. She is clearly a huge strength for this team. Now 11-0-2. She is carrying this team.
Yeah, and I'd like to see how that one sort of manifested, because as we were watching Leokis over there just bully out the Garen, like this fight just sort of came out of nowhere, and the dragon was up and they were ready to go for it, and both teams doing a good job of at least like not overcommitting to it. But then at some point there was a trigger pulled, and I'm assuming that it had to start with Aragon and followed up at the end with Siofra.
Yeah, you have to imagine something like that. It could be Crockpot as well. Has been actually really clutch on these engages on the Pike. I'll say it. I think he gets the Pike pass. I think we can say that this is a worthy Pike player, especially in lane. Had a lot of stuff to do, but like now, Fel, how do they stop this Kaisa in a team fight? Right? Like, how are they even getting onto her?
There's only one way to do it, and that's with a Ashen Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming out and a follow-up from Leokis. So they're going to have to stun her and then get Leokis to ult her. And then when she's in the Death Realm, you have to kill the rest of the team. Like that's what has to happen
Yeah.
there. And the worst thing that can happen is if she gets that, and then Derpy, if he's heads up enough on this Morgana to black shield her before the Mordekaiser gets close enough, that is one of the worst feelings as a Mordekaiser player to see that. So I do think that that's going to be the way that they sort of get back into this, but it is really, really hard to pull off with the comp that FFM have basically drafted into this.
Yeah, it's a tall task for Flannels as we see Zephyr up over a full item on the Kaisa into the Ashe. 11-0-2 is going to be a monster in these team fights. They may be looking for a little play on the bot side now. I think Prisma Sire just gonna clear out some jungle camps. Actually finds Aragon in the jungle there and will have to back off on the Briar. Largely ineffectual so far this game. 1-6-1. Really hasn't been able to find those explosive ult angles and those kinds of ganks that you want on the Briar. Walking out the mid lane, but there's just no angle on any of these lanes other than the Garen, who was losing without Briar's help.
Yeah, so I don't think that there's really much you can do now. I think that you're just going to have to sort of turtle, control at least a little bit of the pace and try to slow it down as much as you can. You're probably going to be able to kill Sigma on repeat if he keeps pushing up on this Garen. But outside of that, like you're just losing too much. And if you start sending resources up to the top to kill this Garen and help out Leokis, then you're just going to give up something else somewhere else along the map. So let Leokis do his thing and stop the Garen on his own, and then play the rest of the map as it comes in. As now Aragon is going to try to turn this around, and we have 3 going after the Mordekaiser instead.
Yeah, Sigma looked overextended, but he has a team here to back him up. Moonfall and the flash out from Aragon goes back in with the E reset, and Crockpot picks up the kill onto Leokis. They might be able to start up the Baron. Aragon quite low, but could get back here fairly fast on the Diana if they want to hit it. Maybe content to just push out lanes, though. That's a nice pick on the Mordekaiser. Might not get them anything, especially if Sigma stays pushed up this far. If this Crystal Arrow hits, Sigma might fall.
Oh, no, Mordekaiser.
But Pulverized combo doesn't quite work out. They may find him anyway, though. Stun up from the Briar. Slowed now. Oh my god, and the killer instinct to the backline. Zephyr is a menace. Completely unkillable on this guy. So she shuts down the Ashe. She's gonna shut down the Alistar as well. Prisma Sire falls as well. That is 4-0 to FFM. That's a free Baron if I've ever seen one.
I don't know who made that call, but why you would spend all your resources on the 0-6, now 1-6 Garen when you're losing. Yeah, when you're losing everywhere else. I don't like that call. I get that you're like, okay, we just need something. We need a pick. We need something, but you need to save that. Like Kaisa did something that a lot of people will probably not enjoy, which is taking barrier into an Ashe instead of the cleanse. So like you can still lock her down, and Mordecai did a really, really good job on the Alistar to try to disengage that Kaisa as soon as they ulted in, but she's just so far ahead that it really, really doesn't matter. So yeah, blowing it all on the Garen and then not even killing him. He's getting to the point now with the Force of Nature, with the Aegis of the Legion, and the Stridebreaker where it's kind of big.
Here, the opposite of big there, though. Mordecai and the Alistar without the Unbreakable Will. That is a squishy cow. Zephyr picks up another kill. They're going to get the tier 2 in the mid lane, Dragon up in 15 seconds, and that's Soul for them, right? This will be the Hextech Soul. Really easily picked up. Looks like nothing they can do about it. They're going to look for a pick onto Leokis in the bot side. We'll walk it out on the Mordekaiser, but they actually might be able to pick up this tier 2 before moving down to the Dragon. Dream Unforgiven, shout out. Has not been a part of a single kill so far as Leoki stunned up under the tower. Oh my god, Crockpot on a killing spree. Briar gonna be forced to go in with a certain death, but I think it's only certain death for her and her own team. Sigma's now in the backline, picks up his second kill of the game. Zephyr legendary on the Kai, so the tier 2 tower will fall. The Dragon will be short behind it, and they might just end the game here, Phil.
Yeah, and I don't know how many points she's already put into that Black Shield, but that was a complete Lux ult and E, and it did not even break the Black Shield barely on Aragon. So Derpy just basically allowing Aragon to just go under, take like 2 turret shots and a Lux ult, and just, yeah, this game is 100% going the way of FFM. It would be an absolute disaster if they were to lose this, as they're just pulling in here, and yeah, the Lux maybe not the play that they maybe not the pick that was going to be enough to turn this game around for.
Yeah, just has no agency on the pick, unfortunately. Dream Unforgiven playing fine, but hasn't really been able to do anything. They're going to take 2 inhibs, and they're not going to press their luck. They're up, I don't know, a light 18,000 gold, something like that. You know what I mean? They're going to say, we're fine with an 18,000 gold lead. We'll take 2 inhibs, we'll back off, we'll kill you on the next push.
Yeah, and I think that's basically what they're doing now. Sigma, obviously, he's, just doing his Garen things here. He's fine. But yeah, you're just so ahead right now that you're just going to smack them with your wallets. And I think now if you're Flannels, what you need to do is just be like, okay, we let game one, we won game one pretty handily off of what we wanted to do. We took advantage of all of FFM's mistakes, and now game two, we kind of just pigeonholed ourselves into a really, really strong top laner, but the rest of the map was pretty null and void. This Briar did not beat out this Diana. Lux obviously is going to struggle into a Morgana. I think the Morgana pick was like 10 head at this point. Just done so much here, to basically negate everything that Flannels wants to do. So really, really good job by them. I love their draft this time. Didn't work out last time, but they're just doing so much right now that there's nothing really that Flannels can do. It's time to start thinking about game 3 and what you want to change up.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to get one more fight. It would be awesome if they got 1 kill in that fight. I honestly don't think they will. As you see, Crockpot here does pull back the Garen Leokis. This is their chance to get a kill. Actually, Zephyr in the zone is under the tower. Will get out, though, at the last second. There we go. There's their kill. Crockpot overextends a little bit. Mordecai will grab the kill. Ooh, Leoki stunned up. We'll see if he can do anything off of that. Puts Sigma in the death realm, but actually might lose the 1v1 that time to the Demacian Justice. Derpy hit up by the ultimate there in the backside, but Aragon hits a 2-man moonfall, gets a triple kill at the back of the fight. They've tried their hearts out, Flannels, in this last team fight, but it is nowhere near enough. The minions might just win the game on their own. FFM are going to tie up the series 1-1.
Yeah, and really, really good job, by FFM to basically just know that they were going to lose that top lane. I don't know if they knew it off of the bat, but woke up Sigma, not his strongest performance on this Garen, but it didn't matter because Aragon played that almost perfectly. We talked about it in the beginning. You want to see him go up to the top lane to see if he can try to get something onto Leokis. And there was nothing there to get because he had it warded. And then it goes straight into bot lane, gets a kill. Goes straight into mid lane, goes straight back to bot lane, gets 2 kills, takes the dragon, takes this, takes that. And, they just controlled the tempo the entire time. The vision was absolutely 100% in their favor. It was always offensive. They always had vision where they wanted it, where they wanted their next play, and then they played around their win con. The Morgana, although the KDA isn't super impressive, did so much in this game to just basically, keep their team safe and keep the carry safe, and then do their own damage and lock down. And they just played it so well.
Yeah, I completely agree. As we see, my cam frozen in a bit of an unflattering angle here. So apologize for that one, but yeah, truly. And like, look, shout out to Aragon. Shout out to Aragon for the mental resilience to come back in this game 1, right? After a bit of a disaster, or game 2, excuse me, bit of a disaster game 1 on the Jarvan. Tried his best to find those engage angles, wasn't able to get them. Comes back clear-headed. Still happy to go in, ready to find those engages for his team on the Diana in game 2, and it pays off. Huge CO for obviously the huge shout out of the game. Complete 1v9 Kai'Sa performance there. We'll have to see what they can find in game number 3, though. These teams do seem quite evenly matched in the team fights. Top lane, bit of an issue for FFM, but the bot lane might be a bit of an issue for Flannels. We're going to take a quick break before game 3. I'm going to get this camera sorted out. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You do like you do like crazy, oh 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy, crazy, oh oh crazy, oh 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 crazy, 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 you do like crazy, oh like crazy, oh.
Gladiator League.
Welcome back to game 3 of our Gladiator League. Thank you, Fel. Week at number 6. My camera is fixed, and we are back for an exciting game number 3. 1-1. FFM took a really decisive game 2. Losses in the top side, wins everywhere else. Fel, how do you bounce back here if you're Flannels?
I think that you just sort of go back to what was working in game 1. You had basically a split pusher in the top lane, and you played a 4-1. I think that FFM's team fighting has been a lot better across the board, even when they were making like the mistakes. Like they still drafted for a team fight comp. They want to go 5v5. They want to go 5v4. They want to make some picks. They want you to come to them. I think that sort of isolating the Lokis on the top lane into a winning matchup that can put pressure on the map and cause FFM to react instead of, come up with their own plays and create their own tempo. I think that's kind of the key, because that seems to be what worked for Flannels.
Yeah, looking for maybe a little more proactivity, a pick that in the top lane, if he gets a lead like that, can really push his advantage onto the rest of the map, or through a stronger split push victory, right? Mordekaiser are not going to split down and end the game the way that Trundle will, the way that some of these other kind of picks will, Jax, these kinds of things. So maybe something a little more proactive. And on the side of FFM, I want to see what worked for them in game 2. I want more go buttons is what I want to see. I want to see a similar game plan. Allow CO for space in team fights to take over, get another good engaged champ for Aragon, something he can skirmish on, will be golden.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that also came down to, just like in game 1, how FFM was kind of messing up their engages and they weren't mechanically sound. Maybe it was the first game jitters or the stream jitters, whatever you want to call it, or they just haven't been practicing too much. I don't know what it was, but that was Flannels in game 2. We saw, four Enchanted Crystal Arrows miss in a row, and then when they finally did hit, they were way too far behind and they got smacked around with FFM's wallets. And so I think that if they go back to like a split pushing top where they can just leave Leokis up there, maybe send one early jungle gank to get him ahead and then just leave him alone, not have him come down and be like a Mordekaiser is a really strong champ, but they're a one-on-one champ. And then if they ult into the Death Realm, the rest of their team, if they're not hitting what they need to, so I don't think that the Lux worked out really well. I think a control mage is really good for Dream Unforgiven, but I'd like to see maybe a Hui, even though it keeps getting banned out. Maybe something else that isn't going to rely so much on skill shots, because we saw from Derpy, like, they got some fancy feet. So does Sigma. I don't know how many, Mordekaiser abilities were missed.
Yeah.
But he still lost because he went Phase Rush instead of Conqueror. So, I think putting, Dream Unforgiven on a control mage, maybe a Malzahar or an Annie or something that, guaranteed stuns to follow up with. But, we'll see as we get into the draft here, as game 3, both of these teams have an idea of what works. They've both seen it, and now is the time where, you kind of have to go into that.
Yeah, absolutely. The sides have been swapped here. Flannels will be on the blue side for game number 3, FFM on the red side. Ooh, and already
Draven. That's
a switch up in bans. They've been banning Hui on 1 so far. Now it's Draven.
I still don't think that they're going to give the Hui over. I think that's an insta B1 lock for Dream Unforgiven.
Yeah, that champ is so good.
But for some reason, they don't want to do it with the Draven. Who knows? Maybe they're looking at like a Twitch or something, something that's really weak in the Draven. But, the Malphite ban is going to come out after the Silas again. I'm assuming that Leokis is just really strong on that champion. We haven't really seen Sigma play anything that would be like super bad into the Malphite. Like Garen would be fine and Cho'Gath would be fine. So it must just be a pocket pick that they don't want to see as the Jinx comes through as well.
Means Hui is up and available if Flannels wants to pick it up for Dream Unforgiven in the mid lane. We'll see what their choice is here. Hui has been strong in the league overall, but especially for the kind of style that we've been seeing. Dream on, there it is, Hui B1.
I want to see an Echo or a Fizz or something, or a Zed, something that can move around and make him miss a lot. And, Vel'Koz,
Not quite.
Is this going to be a poke lane or what? Because that's I would assume that's going to be going into the bot lane. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was a Mundo ban instead of the Draven. All right. So we do see the Maokai coming out for Aragon. Hopefully, I would love to see that in the jungle for him. I think that he's been having an issue with starting the fights, and I think that with the Vel'Koz, Maokai 100% gives his team that agency to chase down and catch people out. As we do see the Kayn coming through. I love this pick. If it ends up going top into the tank, you know, red Kayn is so hard to deal with.
Oh, it's not going top.
Yeah, no, that's a Camille. So we're going to see the Kayn coming out in the jungle for Prisma Sire. We've now seen 3 really odd jungles, I guess, for ISP that I've ever seen. And we see the Darius coming out for FFM. So if that's a Darius jungle into a Kayn, like that could be really, really bad for the Kayn.
Yeah, this draft throwing me for a loop here. We've got a lot of crazy blinds. Both teams saving their entire... Well, I guess Vel'Koz might be support. We'll have to see. Maybe saving their entire bot lanes for... No, they don't think it's support. That's a Leona ban. Flannels is assuming this Vel'Koz is going mid, so both teams saving their entire bot lanes for their last 2 picks. If I'm looking at this right, that's a Darius versus Camille top lane matchup. Leoki's blinding the Camille on blue side. I feel like is a crazy choice, but maybe he just thinks he's that much better than Sigma.
I mean, potentially this could be a flex. We have seen Camille play support for a long time. I know it got nerfed into the ground a little bit just because it was so overpowered in pro play, but it still works. It still does the same stuff. So, you know, interesting to see what comes out of here. Is we're just going to see Siofra on another champion that requires a lot of mechanic, you know, ability. This Varus is, you know, not the biggest range when it comes to auto attacks, but can do a lot of damage from afar if you go with the, you know, the armor pen build. And then Mordecai on the Thresh, that's his #1 support. So we'll see what him and Gnome Reaper can come up with. That might be a Hwei bot, but I'm assuming that's going to be going over the Dream. As it's, yeah, it's a Smolder.
Smolder, yeah.
Yeah, so Thresh going to be able to keep the Smolder safe, and I guess we'll see what the last pick over for FFM is, what really, really rounds this out. I want to see a team. Nope.
It's a Blitzcrank instead. Wow, Blitzcrank at the bot lane means Vel'Koz will be their mid laner laning into the Hwei here. Bit of a poke matchup in the mid lane there. These are some crazy comps here, Fel. What do we make of this?
Blitzcrank is a huge gamble, right? And I hated the Pike pick, but it ended up working out really, really well. Thresh is a very, very good counter to Blitzcrank because he can do so much to keep his ADC safe. If you pull the Thresh in, he can turn it around. So really, really interesting to see what comes out of this. Crockpot, prove me wrong again. I'm rooting for you on this Blitzcrank. I don't think it's the greatest pickup here. Like, there's 3 targets you really, really don't want to pick. And Smolder is going to have a lot of escapability if you do end up getting the pull onto him, as they are going to get spotted out here. They should check this bottom brush and see Gnome Reaper. If I see a flash hook come through and pull Gnome Reaper and get first blood, it might just make my night.
Yeah, it would be kind of fun. Doesn't look like they're going for it yet. They're probably somewhere in that bot side jungle. A little counter invade here on the top side as Flannel's trying to do something with their time. They're spotted out on another ward here. Really great protection against the Blitzcrank. Heads up level 1 play from Flannels. We're probably just going to go back into our standard lanes.
Yeah, what I would have really, really loved to see was what Prisma Sire's doing here on the Kayn. I would have really loved to have seen them all sit up here and make it a 4v3, but instead Prisma Sire might be caught out.
Yeah, might be bad. Actually escapes the Darius. Now Aragon in a bit of trouble as Leoki's moves down here on the Camille from the top side. Hits him with the tactical sweep, and Aragon taken quite low. Derpy up here melee range on the Vel'Koz. Not typically where you want to be. Aragon really low to start his jungle clear, though, so I think Prisma going to be happy with that. We'll lose a little bit of time having to walk back to his side of the map. All of the melee minion XP missed for both mid laners.
Yeah, but I think that if you are Prisma Sire, this hurts you a lot more. Like, one of the things about Maokai is early on, his jungle clear is not the fastest compared to like a Kayn, and Kayn not starting on his Raptors. They're gonna know that they both started up on the top side, and I think that like level 3 before he gets his form, Kayn is just gonna be a little bit too squishy and not strong enough to be able to make a play on the bot side. So this is probably gonna be a slow full clear as Crockpot.
Hook in from Crockpot. Blitzcrank paying off already. Drops the ignite onto Mordecai, who has to flash out on the Thresh. Tough start to the bot lane for Flannels here. FFM proving how they won game number 2 with bot lane dominance and an aggressive support pick. They're back to show that works again in game 3.
Yeah, and good job to not overcommit by Siafra there. They really could have. Mordecai being level 1, it feels really bad getting hooked in and then taking a couple shots. But as you can see, Thresh already with the pots, gets out of there as they want. And now Sigma, surprisingly, on this Darius is actually the one that is pushing into Leoki's. So we haven't seen Leoki's on the backside. Still no flash. Opts for the ignite instead of the ghost that we've seen on the last two. So still hates flash, but at least
Maybe he like hasn't unlocked it. Have we considered that? Like his account is like too low a level to have unlocked flash or something, because at this point it's a little crazy. Not taking it last game, like it makes sense on all these champions. I've seen it before. It's just kind of funny. These are the champs that he plays. A little bit of trading in the mid lane, not gonna mean much of the derpy low on mana.
Yeah, and Sigma is going to have to be careful, going into a Camille on Darius. If you blow your Q like he just did, but you leave yourself open for, a counter engage, is now the hook coming out from Mordecai. Sending a little love back to Crockpot here. This bot lane is just going to be so just like on a razor's edge here. As Derpy on his Vel'Koz is expending mana really quickly. I'm going to be interested to see if maybe they pull out like a tier, or if they go straight into like a Blackfire for their mana issues. As we know, Hui does have like a little built-in mana regen through his abilities. But as I was saying earlier, Aragon on this Maokai is now just getting bolt scuttles, is going to be really far ahead of this Kayn, and he's going to try to come up here and make a play onto Leoki's.
Yeah, looking for top lane gank. The wave is pushing away from Leoki's, and he's gonna check the brush. Not quite in range, however, of the twisted advance. So Aragon will back off back to his top side camps. As you said, double scuttle over to the Maokai is a little bit punishing for the Kayn, who is back out on the map first, though, for his second clear. As down on this bot lane, though, level 4 is through for FFM. We'll see if they want to make another play. Mordecai, no flash after that initial play. Crockpot really has the pressure here. Yeah, gonna zone him off the minions as much as he can. Up a tiny bit. Actually, will be down CS, though, for Siofra as this wave crashes into the tower. So Gnome Reaper doing a good job of keeping the matchup at least even in that regard.
Yeah, and I like the aggressiveness on this Blitzcrank, and Aragon missing the gank the first time is gonna pull this in now, but Sigma has no mana.
Ooh, Sigma
flash out.
Yeah, taking really low flashes out to avoid the ignite burn down. Leoki's probably just gonna walk this off. Aragon does hit level 5 there, though. That health gonna matter a lot. Leoki's won't have the hook shot back up for another couple seconds. Flash Q from Aragon doesn't find the damage. The sapling is way too slow to catch Leoki's, but on the bot side of the map, we missed it as Mordecai fell once again to Siofra. She is off to another lead in game number 3, and it's shaping up to look a bit like game number 2.
Yeah, the only difference is that Siofra is not going to be able to hyper carry like they did on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
Mordecai looked really good on the Nautilus in game 1, and since then, the Alistar was not the pick. The Thresh, within the first couple of minutes, not the pick. You give your laner a ton of safety net with your Lantern, but if you're the one that's getting hooked and you're the one that's taking all the damage, all it takes is 1 or 2 shots from Varus to apply the W stacks, and then you're just going to take so much burst damage. And that, I'm assuming that's what's happening here in the bot lane, as Crockpot is just doing such a good job playing these champions to their advantage.
Yeah, and Leoki's, again, like winning out on the topside exchange. It really looked like Sigma was winning this lane, but a really well played 1v2 from Leoki saves him from the gank, almost gets the kill onto Sigma, blows the flash as well. The ignite will be up way before, and Sigma, once again, as we know, look, Leoki's not a fan of flash. Sigma takes teleport, but really hates to use it.
Yeah, I guess this is 2 games in a row. I didn't even realize until you said that yeah, they just didn't, and the items are basically even here. We do see that Leoki's does have the biscuits in their inventory, but yeah, they're coming back, both of them, just with the Sheen, are gonna want to try to scrap. I would like to see Kayn try to come up here and maybe take advantage of this flashless Darius, but I feel like as soon as he does, this bot lane is going to pull the trigger on the dragon, and they'll basically give up an objective just to make a play on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Up about 10 CS for CO for here on the bot side, as well as getting that kill. That was a huge boon for them in game number 1, was that in all of the skirmishes, in all of the explosive early bot lane plays, she just happened to get all the kills, right? Either they're really, really good at waiting and trying to give them over, or it was a little bit lucky, as we see here. Exactly what you wanted. Kane is topside. Sigma, no flash, no way out of this Hextech ultimatum. We'll get a Q off to heal up a little bit, but they're going to give that kill to Prismasire, stack him up on the Kane. And that's a pretty big wave. You're going to miss it. Hey, on the bright side, he has teleport.
Yeah, teleport. Yep. Knew it was coming. Yeah, and I really, really like that. Like I said, I wanted to see Kane come up here and punish that, and they did a really good job of standing on top of Darius to make sure that he couldn't heal through his blade. And now, unfortunately, he's using the teleport, so they're probably going to miss out on these grubs, and that's a ton. That's a ton of orbs that Kane is going to get too, so he's going to be much closer to his form if he's opting, which I'd assume he's opting in for the red Kane this game. So unfortunate, they couldn't really do much with it because Leokis was a little, or Unforgiven was a little bit too pushed up, and Derpy on this Vel'Koz is doing a really, really good job, but of making sure that that was pushed up, but does end up, ooh, misses the smite battle. Prismasire is now kind of caught out here.
Get out here. Is caught out. Has the humble trespass, though. Will keep him alive for a little bit longer. Here comes the Nature's Grasp. Will flash out of the way. Oh, but it does connect to the Dream Unforgiven, who used his flash, getting the solo kill in the mid lane. Leokis is here. See if he can do anything. Aragon take it really low. Oh, Prismasire is back. Gonna grab another one. Kill goes over to Leokis. Sigma getting a lot of stacks here, though. Noxie and Guillotine will pick up a kill. No way he can chase down the Kane in the jungle, unfortunately. Now teleport behind him from the Thresh. Mordecai up here trying to join the action. They're going to see if they can catch a pick on to Darius. The stacks should be gone from the hemorrhage. We'll try to blast Cone over the wall, but the death sentence grabs him from mid air, and the kill. Ooh. Heals up a good amount from the Q. We'll see. Doesn't have flash up, though. No way out of this one. Prismasire picks up another kill. Derpy is back into the action as well. Not going to pick up anything else. 4-3 in favor of Flannels. They stole away one grub, not the other two, but they did get the feat of warfare. This game's a bloody one, Phil.
Yeah, and Mordecai is still up here on this Thresh, and they weren't able to kill Gnome Reaper on this Smolder on the bot side. He still has flash, so they haven't even like really gotten much out of this. Aragon is going to end up turning this around and getting the dragon. And also something to note is they have 3 grubs as well, because even though Prismasire came up on the Kane to try to steal that last grub, Maokai won the smite battle. And now this Darius that was, 0-1 and kind of behind, 2-2 now with, oh, jeez.
Ooh, yeah, Crockbot under the tower for a second there. Won't get connected by the mom. Is going to be able to speed himself out with that overdrive there. Although slowed down now. We'll see if Mordecai can land the death sentence just out of range. Won't find it onto Crockbot, who now is going back into re-engage. Aragon is here. Doesn't have the Nature's Grasp yet, but will have it soon. There it is. The rocket grab connects. Mordecai will fall. Puts down the box, but it doesn't matter. Siofra picks up a second kill as we got more action up at the top side as well. Sigma, good damage onto Leokis, stacks up the passive. Leokis doesn't want to take the fight any further. The guillotine is available.
Yeah, and we were talking about this, during the break, is that I wanted to see Sigma on a carry. I wanted to see him on something like a Gnar, like the Urgot, which is his most played champion. And this Darius is paying dividends right now, where FFM, for the most part, they were losing the top lane and then winning everywhere else. Now they have a top laner that's holding his own, and we're going to see if they can transition that into, the late game here as Crockpot.
Prismasire gets a nice gank into the bot side, though. They're going to give the kill over to Gnome Reaper on the Smolder, get a couple more stacks. This Kane has been everywhere so far for Flannels. Prismasire 2-0-2 with a completed Spear of Shojin and a red form completion.
Yeah, he's done such a really good job this game of just controlling the tempo and being where he needs to be and trying to give his team, every advantage. And to be fair, he also came up, for Leokis up on the top here, even though Leokis isn't really winning this so much. We see the wave is getting pushed in. He's taking damage from the Darius, and, he's going to have to back again here. This Kane has done so much for the side of Flannels right now, and this is anybody's game. We do have a 2-0 Varus on Siofra, but everywhere else, they have a lead as well. So what we were seeing out of FFM in the other games is now just basically even better, considering the fact that they have the lead in places where they're not used to having it.
Yeah, they've really woken up since game one. I will say this topside lead is small, right? Sigma actually, I think, down in XP, is winning out on the trades. As we see the bot lane for FFM, though, that's the real point of strength. Mordecai almost burns down on the Thresh. Gonna have to take a really unfortunate recall, and this leaves Smolder so vulnerable, flashless under his own tower. Blitzcrank loves these sort of situations, and Crockpot's been playing it great. As we see a little more mid lane action here, though. Mid lane has been going really, really well for Flannel's. Dream did get a solo kill into Derpy earlier, looks for another one here. QQ will not connect. Derpy will be able to walk it off almost as a slash up. So does Dream, though. No ultimate is already used. We'll see if the QW comes through. Oh, barely dodged it out. Yeah, good footwork from Derpy to live. Might come back in, can ult the next wave if he wants. Oh, but Prisma's here. Using the
this could be a
misty
really good
step through the wall.
dive.
We'll see. Yeah, he's through the wall. Doesn't want to go for it yet, though. Knows that Derpy's flash is about to come back up. They're going to see if they can just get him under the tower, potentially. Oh, my God. Dream connects the QW right before Derpy's flash comes up. The severing bolt comes through. Dream Unforgiven, a second solo kill in that mid lane. But now Leoki's in a bit of danger. Does not have vision of the Maokai, but the wave is pushing into him. If he just lets the wave push in and collect it, he should be safe. The Otacon wall, actually baits Leoki's to go in with the hook shot. And Aragon is here from out of vision. Pops the Hextech ultimatum, dodging the Maokai ultimate. Really nice from Leoki's, but as we said earlier, he didn't take flash. Aragon gonna grab the kill onto the Camille on the top side.
Yep, and now Crockpot's going to try to go in on Reaper, but Gnome has been doing such a good job on this Smolder to just stay as safe as they can. Even without flash, this Blitzcrank just has no hooks, and it seems like if Mordecai isn't here, he doesn't really have a target. So really, really good job by Gnome Reaper on this Smolder. Is going to scale really, really hard into this late game as they're going to go for the top tower here. And really well done by FFM to just take control of this game, open up their top lane, and then give themselves some options for some lane swaps here, or just use Sigma's pressure to start drawing 2-3 people to the top side so they can take everything else on the map.
Yeah, and I would love to see them do that right here. The dragon will be up in about 15 seconds. If FFM were to secure this dragon, it would get them the feats. They have the feat of the first tower, I believe, from that, and they have 2 objectives already. Wow, Lifeform Disintegration Raid popped in the mid lane, forces Gnome Reaper to flash away on the mid wave. If that doesn't secure the dragon, I don't really know what will. I will say Maokai, no ultimate here. Without the Nature's Grasp, maybe a little bit harder to fight than they would like. Trying to contest through the mid lane, Flannels, but they're outnumbered here. I really don't think they'll be able to go for a Crockpot. Over the wall, finds the Rocky Grab again on the Mordecai, and this Thresh is down again. His soul collected. Siofra picks up a 3rd kill, and that is going to be a 3rd objective, 2nd dragon for the team.
Yeah, and it seems like at this point, Crockpot has to just be in his head, right? Like you're doing this like you've been in games where you basically play it perfectly, but there's that one champion. There's the Pike. There's the Blitzcrank. There's the whatever. Maybe it's a Morgana that just hits every Q on you, and it just feels so bad. And that is Crockpot into Mordecai right now, as it looks like he's going to force the flash, just the flash. But Prismasire wants to go back in.
Yeah, we'll see what Kane can do here. Probably not much. Runs through the wall with the Eon, but Dream Unforgiven, yeah, flash blown by the Blitzcrank. Crockpot really making his presence known across the map now, not just on the bot side where he got a huge advantage for Siofra. And now I've been meaning to talk to you about this, Phil. I think now is the point as we're going to have a bit of a lull state potentially. How do we feel about on-hit Varus this game?
I was just
I did for sure, Jinx.
Yeah.
They're gonna
I was
5v5
just
now.
looking at that as well, and I actually kind of like it. You're going into a Camille, you're going into a Kane, and you're also gonna have the Thresh. I think that they have enough poke. Yep, here we go.
Here we go. I did, in fact, Jinx at Sigma taken quite low by the Hextech ultimatum here. Dream picks up 1 kill. Oh, Prisma blown up on the backside, though. Derpy grabs a kill. It looked like a kind of risky engage for the side of Flannels. I'm surprised they got the first kill as quick as they did. Sigma falls. Prismasire falls as well. Herald is up for the taking, but Derpy, huge lead now in the mid wave, at least for this wave, will probably be able to force Dreamer for giving out. Yeah, Lifeform Disintegration Ray. Oh, just barely, not enough damage there. Comes through at the very end. The burn down, the Hui will fall. Hubris walking up on that mid wave there.
Yeah, and paid him back as we see this fight start out over here. Leokas gets the engage, and Aragon does such a great job of basically, getting in there and, breaking it up a little bit. And Sigma here, if he just ults here, does so much damage, and they probably could have gotten a double kill there. So I feel like that's kind of a missed opportunity. And then, yeah, Dream Unforgiven forgets that he got the kill without using the disintegration, and then just a little bit enough of a burn down here. But as I was saying earlier, you're going to have a lot of people coming your way. I actually do like the on-hit Varus. If they get into a late game and the Blitzcrank pulls, I don't know, let's say the Kane, who's going to be tanky, on-hit Varus is going to be able to pump out a ton of damage. They have enough poke along with the Vel'Koz over in the mid lane that I don't think it's going to be super necessary for that. And I feel like Varus just feels better as a champion when you can land a couple hits really quickly and get your passive, your blight stacks going, and just be able to play off of that. But we'll see now as
Yeah, Gnome Reaper.
Yeah, just the opposite of Mordecai getting hit by everything. Gnome Reaper not getting hit by anything.
Oh my God, yeah. Look, okay, that trade is all I needed to see. I am now completely on board with the on-hit Varus. He did so much damage with his two abilities right there. Like, I think the thing is that, like, it doesn't really change your kill threat when Crockpot lands a hook, right? If Crockpot hooks in Mordecai, hooks in Gnome Reaper, hooks in Dream Unforgiven, you're going to kill him no matter what Varus build you have, right? So you might as well go on hit for those more extended team fights, get that DPS threat down, especially with Vel'Koz. I burst, not the craziest DPS mage in the game, right? And they're lacking it a bit in their other roles. So we see Prismasire is here. Crockpot maybe a little too overextended. Gets the W moves. We see Siofra has to flash out. Will survive, though. Mom across the top. Not going to deal quite enough damage. There's the Humble Trespass, though. I think they have to give up Crockpot here. See if they can... Oh, a nice disengage hook from Crockpot. Save Siofra at the last second. But Prismasire, another successful gank on the bot lane, is starting to accelerate this Smolder. However, on the top side, Aragon playing through his other winning lane, smacking that Rift Herald down on the tier 2. Dream is here. We'll see if he wants to contest this. Spiraling Despair hits on Aragon, but he gets into the Herald. Then the ultimate kills the Herald. He takes the damage anyway, but they do pick up the tier 2 tower on the top side.
Yeah, and I think that was just a really, really good job of them just realizing, hey, we got this. You take the Herald and you get a tower, you guaranteed tower. But Prismasire on the other side is going to shut down Derpy, and that feels really, really bad there. If you are FFM, because everything was going their way, and now that could be like the one thing, a shutdown and a lot of gold put into one of your champions that can really, really 1v9, especially late game. This Kane can really do a ton of damage, heal themselves up, and just stay in the fight and cause so much chaos, especially into the backline of this FFM. As we saw there, he does so much damage, enough to just basically 1-0 in about 4 seconds onto the Vel'Koz. The same will be said about Varus if they get caught out.
Yeah, it was crazy damage there. We missed 2 in the top side of the fight. Sigma overextended and actually got taken down by the Camille. That's a huge amount of gold that she's going to get off this. Might not be able to finish off the tower on this rotation. Yeah, has to hookshot out, but the dragon has spawned on the bot side of the map. Numbers advantage so far is for FFM. Now, this would be their 3rd dragon, so I would love to see Flannels contest it, but they might just be a little bit too late. Kane not quite here. Sigma flashes as well. Crockpot loves standing in this little pocket of vision, loves it so much. Prismasire is here, will not be able to get all the way into the pit, though. Death sentence through. Mordecai follows it, goes into the pit. Oh! It goes down to Hui, the Spiraling Despair in the middle of everyone dealing a ton of damage. Mordecai lands another death sentence. Double kill, make it a triple kill for Prismasire, and he is still going. Umbral Trespass in onto the Darius, gonna heal up a ton. Misses the WQ back, though. Sigma could try to carry this fight on his own, but Dream Unforgiven full health on the Hui is going to deal so much damage here. And look at the top side fell. Leokis is just taking 2 towers.
Yeah, and like during that whole time, also, they lost the dragon to the Hui. Both of these junglers missed their smited a little bit.
Oh, God.
I think one smited too early, and the other one missed it completely. And Hui actually ends up taking that. I don't know if maybe one of the smites were burnt on a champion by accident. It can get really crazy, as I think we're going to see it here. Aragon starts this off. Siofra actually misses their E here on the dragon. I don't know if we should be calling that out, but, the on-hit Varus does a ton of damage to objectives as well as you know, we see Aragon basically pulling him out. Really, really good death sentence by Mordecai here, and then we see the smite come out. Both of them actually smited super early. Both of them sitting at 900, so that was just enough. And then Dream Unforgiven on the way on the backside, able to take that. And then, yeah, they do a really, really good job here on this Kane after getting a triple kill. Holy crap, to sit inside of Sigma and just kind of let everything go out as we're about to have another fight pre-Otacon here.
We'll see Mordecai in the middle of everyone again, but this time might not work out as well as it did the last time. Actually does escape there at the last second, but the Kane will not. No triple kill in sight for Prisma Sire. Gnome Reaper now stuck in the middle of everyone. Double killed on the Noxian Guillotine to the top lane. Leokis tries to work some magic, cannot get it done. Zephyr burning down a little bit to the Ignite. Dream Unforgiven relatively untouched, but he cannot 2v3 Mordecai way too low. He death sentenced in, he got punished for it. Now team might get Otacon. We'll see if FFM wants to start it up in the face of the Hwei. Ooh, Rocket Grab just barely doesn't connect on a Dream Unforgiven. Now Blitzcrank has Flash if he wants to go in. Hwei in a dangerous spot, does not have the Spiraling Despair, and as you mentioned on the Dragon, Zephyr is going to melt these objectives down. QW down for Dream Unforgiven. We'll see. Trying to contest this on his own. I really don't think it's gonna work. Crockpot racing at him with the W on, knocks him up with the E. There's the Q, Rocket Grab through. Oh, Q misses for Zephyr though. Dream makes the Varus flee back. They're actually gonna pick up the kill on a Blitzcrank. Mordecai is here. They might not be able to finish the Dragon before Aragon falls, and they may have just leashed the Otacon for Flannel's. Dream Unforgiven. Complete 1v9 play here in the top side. Flashes away from the Vel'Koz and roots him up as well. Death sentence in from Mordecai. They're gonna grab another kill. Flannels with a huge comeback play after the disaster team fight. Dream Unforgiven gets the MVP.
Yeah, and Derpy was on the bot side, took the tier 2, and then teleported up after the play was already over. They 100% leashed that Dragon. Unfortunately for FFM, they had the good play, they had the great team fight, they got everything they wanted, and then the Otacon throw is real. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens, and that's what teams have to be willing to do is to take advantage of these things. Like Flannels was in control of this game. They almost gave it away, and then FFM just lets them right back into it now as all of the momentum that they had is basically gone.
Yeah, it's completely stifled. Gold almost actually a lead now for Flannels after Camille took that tower on the bot side. Excuse me, I was gonna say almost even. They're up about 1k, not a very significant difference, but the Camille is so back in the game, and this Kane is huge. Unfortunately, Zephyr, not as much agency on the Varus as she had on the Kai'Sa, right? Has not been able to push her advantage as well. Mordecai lands a death sentence on the Crockpot, but they're not going to find anything more. Hwei has been running in these team fights. We'll see if he can do it again, as the Dragon will be spawning in about 45 seconds. This would be the third Dragon for FFM, second for Flannels, and looks like we're going to get a full 5-on-5 for it.
Yeah, I think so. Dream Unforgiven does not have teleport though, and Sigma's teleport either just came up or is about to come up. So I wouldn't mind seeing them, teleport into this and make it a 5v4. I don't know if they're tracking the timers, but the fight's happening irregardless.
Yeah, fight started already, and the Thresh is down. However, Leokis gets a kill on the backside, picks up CO for Prisma is now in the middle of everyone. Is going to heal up so much on the Kane. Does a lot of work in the middle of the team fight, but they want to keep fighting. Darius is teleporting in from behind. Oh, and they grab Gnome Reaper on the backside. Crockpot on the Blitzcrank gets another one. Barely dodges the Severing Bolt there as well. Prisma Sire can't heal enough for that one. FFM wins out on the team fight. Dream Unforgiven tried his best, but Crockpot, you are a beautiful Blitzcrank.
Yeah, this is how it starts right here. Like I said, sometimes you're just a magnet for that Blitzcrank, and I guess it didn't even start there. I don't even know how he ends up getting caught. Oh, okay, Aragon.
Yeah.
And then the hook must come through. So yeah, just really, really good job by them. Okay, so he didn't even have to land a hook. He just
it wasn't even him.
Zephyr does finally go down to Leokis, but this play from Sigma on this Darius completely saving Derpy, and the early barrier I thought was a good idea from Reaper, but they just turned back onto him, and then as soon as here the flash away from Derpy, and then the pull in from Sigma to keep Derpy alive there. If he didn't do that, that's a dead Vel'Koz, and then that whole fight was basically for naught. Ooh. As now we're about to get another fight here right before the Baron, and Flannels should not take this. They should do whatever they can to just sort of slow this down, because Camille is pushing onto the bot side here, but FFM want to force this teleport, and they want the fight.
They do. That's a good job of slowing it down there from Dream Unforgiven and Mordecai. They do a lot of damage to the Blitzcrank. They're going to stop Aragon's recall as well. Prisma is here. Whole team is here, but the Camille pushing in on the bot side of the map, going to get so much gold. Leokis did this so well in game 1, and we see doing it great in game number 3 as well. Didn't have that split push power last game. Has it here on the Camille. Has picked up at least 3 towers by himself so far this game on the split push. Ooh. Now the Baron won't be started up, but they're going to get a chance to clear out the vision after the great disengage play that they had. Derpy pops the ultimate in this lane, just trying to force Leokis back. Obviously no kill threat there. Hook shot out onto the wall. Leokis will get his recall off. Yeah,
and I think that Leokis had a way in there if he would have just pulled the trigger a little bit earlier after Vel'Koz used his knockup, the W, and then used the or the E, and then used both of his Ws. Basically had 0 cooldowns there on this Vel'Koz, and Leokis I think probably could have went in there. There's no tower safety, so might be scratching his head when he watches the VOD on this of like, why didn't I go in there? Like, I had everything. Ignite, not Flash. Had the Ignite, had the
never
ultimate,
Flash.
had everything. Yeah, never Flash. So could be a missed opportunity. I guess we'll see, as I think Crockpot wants to go in, but I don't think he realizes that they are outnumbered right now. So they do end up backing off here smartly.
Yeah, Prisma was right over the wall. They are going to back off, though. Crockpot not going for the dangerous play. The only objective up is Baron, and they don't seem ready to start it just yet. Now, the gold has swung back over to FFM's side of things, as they have 3 dragons as well. But Leokis is probably going to start winning these top lane 1v1s up 2 levels on Sigma. So much damage. Not probably at all. He explodes the Darius with a Hextech ultimatum and gets out scot-free.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you have a lead as a top laner, and it feels so bad because you start going around the map and you try helping your team out everywhere else. And now you see that Leokis, that has been staying in the solo lane, has caught up and passed on CS, also 2 levels ahead of this Darius now. So Darius was well in control of this matchup, of this game, and now since he's taken so much time to go try to help out the rest of his team, he actually gave his entire lead up, including the XP. So now this is going to be a really, really hard thing for Darius to do, because as they get in deeper, if there's no resets for him to hit and chaos in the backline, I think that he just sort of loses out in the 1v1 to Camille. So now, just like game 1, they're going to have to send more than 1 to deal with Leokis in the top lane, or in the side lane.
Yeah, they absolutely will, but the issue with that there is that they haven't really been winning the team fights either, right? Dream Unforgiven has been doing so much work on the Hui, and so is Prisma Sire on the Kayn in these team fights that, like, FFM, actually, I really think they have 3 dragons. If they get Soul, they're really still in it, but otherwise they might be a bit on the back foot. 4 towers is what Leokis has done in the split push, and he is not going to stop yet, right? He's going to keep this pressure up, and he can team fight as well. It's actually a little bit harder for Darius to team fight sometimes than Camille, I would argue. So I think Flannels, despite being down in Drakes, are actually in a really good position in this game. Not quite sure on the stack count. There it is, 215 for Gnome Reaper. A little slow stacking, but will presumably have it by the next Drake.
Yeah, but that's 100% going to happen when you're playing into a Blitzcrank and your support kind of keeps getting hit by hooks, right? So that's
a democratic way of saying that.
Yeah, and I think he's done a decent enough job of trying to get his stacks. You see Prisma Sire, the rest of his team trying to like stand around him as he's taking.
He gets it on this wave.
So as long as he lands.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't screw it up. There it is.
Okay, so
226.
He's got it. But
yeah, speaking of getting hit by hooks, Prisma Sire takes a ton of damage. Actually, Humble Trespass in, though, is going to heal up a lot. Lands a W onto Zephyr, but will fall to the Naxi Guillotine. So much space created by the Maokai in the backside. Aragon will just barely fall flash forward from Gnome Reaper, but the Camille is in way too deep. That's 3 down to the Darius, and there's the life form disintegration ray. Gnome Reaper, Dream Unforgiven, forced to run. They will grab Crockpot with the QW there at the very end, but that is Dragon Soul going over to FFM. Assume there's no crazy steal from the Hui. He could try. It wouldn't be the first dragon he's got in this game. No, will not go for it. Doesn't have the vision for it. FFM, that's what they needed.
Yeah, and now they get the with 9. So Darius survived. We just got told by production Darius survives with 9 HP there, just barely getting away from the skin of his teeth. Dream Unforgiven is actually going to keep him from backing, and that is the problem with the Hui. That's why it was banned in game 1 and game 2, and instead this game they decided to let him have it, and Dream Unforgiven is showing why you have to ban this champion. The Vel'Koz is not the answer, at least so far. Hui has been doing so much more in these team fights than Vel'Koz, and even though the score may not show it that it's that much of a disparity, this has been really, really like Dream Unforgiven's like breakout game of the series.
Yeah, I completely agree, but that fight was a bit of a disaster for Flannels. Just getting caught. Smolder was trying to stack up on the wave, push in that mid wave, and I think Prismasire just got hooked on the cane, something like that at the start of the fight, as Aragon is in there again. As we see somewhere on the top side, Derpy actually fell to Leoki's though, so this is no longer a good fight for FFM. Aragon engaged a bit too hastily, and now he will fall to Gnome Reaper, who's at his stacks. That's a free Baron for Flannels.
Yeah, and Darius isn't there, and Derpy finally got the Camille treatment that I was talking about earlier, and
Actually, with Dream Unforgiven falling there, they might have an angle. No teleport for Sigma, though. They really don't. Hook on to Mordecai might do something, but Leoki's in there with the hook shot. Barely misses on the crock, but they will take down the Baron. It won't go on a Hui, but that doesn't matter. They grab 2 kills. They grab the Baron. They're okay to lose their mid laner. The gold lead back in the favor of Flannels. This game is on a knife's edge, Phil.
yeah, this is what happens, you know. It gets a little chaotic. The communication is everywhere. Everybody wants to do something, but Leoki on this Camille, you know, big props to them for staying in the game, even though they were losing so bad in the early game. They've basically played their position really, really well. They've gotten back to what's working for them, which is the 4-1. It now shows that if they send Sigma by himself, he is going to die. If they send Derpy by himself, he is going to die. There's nobody on this team that can 1v1 this Camille anymore, which basically leaves the rest of the map opened up. And with the exception of that last play, Dream Unforgiven has been almost perfect on this way with his positioning and his ability to just kind of carry these team fights from the back, sending out artillery strikes like he's Xerath. So really, really good spot for Flannels to be in now. They just have to finish this out.
Yeah, and it looks like they might be able to do it. Hook in onto Aragon. They haven't taken down the tier 1 tower yet, though. Actually, a little too slow on the tower, so Mordecai has to flap his way out. They should be able to disengage. As we'll see, Derpy chasing in. Prismasire slowed up. Yeah, not another kill to be found for FFM. And you're completely right. I do think this game has turned on its head. Despite having the soul, FFM are going to have a really, really hard time team fighting here. Like, how are they ever supposed to catch Gnome Reaper?
Yeah, well, with
Blitzcrank would be the way, yeah.
And maybe, and you know, Malphite can you know, with his ult or maybe a flash W, something like that, like might be able to get in there and do it. But when you do and you expend everything to try to get one guy, you still have Dream Unforgiven on the outside that is still doing so much damage. So, you know, they have 2 huge carries on the side of Flannels for you to try to get. Meanwhile, on the side of FFM, Darius is going to lose to Camille, and the rest of your team is not equipped really well to handle both Gnome Reaper and Dream Unforgiven. It's going to have to be like a pick that comes out of nowhere if they want to get back into this. But Sigma doing a good job of basically taking a play out of Leoki's book here and just causing a little bit of you know, havoc, just keep pressuring, pushing the waves at this point, and is going to try to go in on this Kane, but I don't even know if he wins that 1v1.
Assume he does, but it's maybe not as one-sided as most Darius 1v1s are at this point. Oh, if you tank 2 tower shots, you probably don't. Sigma steps up a little bit too far. Does stack up the passive on Desire, but yeah, he loses that 1v1 in that case. Level 18 now on the Kane. Leoki's came in at the very last second and picked up the kill. Dragon will be up in a minute 15. It will not quite overlap with Sigma's death timer, and the Baron is gone, so not going to be able to get much off the back of that kill, but just an overextension showing that Sigma may not quite know the the limits of the champion at this point in the game. And really, when it's so down to the wire like this, you cannot afford to be giving extra gold over to the Camille.
Yeah, no, you can't. And Sigma early on really finally getting a game that he wants on a champion that really plays into his style a little bit better, but it's still showing that Leoki's in this top lane is just a little bit better than Sigma is. And it, just continuing as now the Elder Dragon is up in 30 seconds. And if this goes the way that most of these fights have been going, oh, Mordecai caught out.
Yeah, speaking of the way most of these fights have been going, it starts with a hook onto Mordecai. Zephyr flashes out as well. We'll see if they can get the Camille peeled off. Oh, but Crockpot flashes in and actually delivers the Camille onto the backside. Can Leokis get Zephyr? Not quite. Does fall actually at the very last second. Derpy doing a lot of work here on the other side of the fight, though. Completely zoning off the final 3 from Flannels. Dream Unforgiven is fine, but Prismasire so low. Forced to recall. 2 for 2, but FFM want to start up the Elder. We'll see if they can do it. They've lost their consistent damage threat in the Varus, but Derpy full health has the shield. Aragon full health, so is Sigma. Kane not here yet. Aragon not taking as much damage from Dream as he was before, but they really take this dragon so slow. Kane will absolutely be back in time. Dream trying to control space, and Kane is here over the wall. Aragon goes in right immediately. Oh, Prisma can't get back over the wall again. Has the Umbral Trespass though, but look, they are burning down to the Smolder. Gnome Reaper's in the Dragon Pit. He's melee range, and he doesn't care. They grab 2 kills, and FFM may have inted away the game starting this Elder Dragon. Derpy gonna try his best. Has the life form disintegration rate available over the wall if he wants it. Not even gonna get an angle to use it. Oh, uses it after the dragon is done. Adds insult to injury. Baron's up in 45 seconds. Elder is down to Flannels, and they've got to be able to win off of this one.
Yeah, and another thing too is that Derpy probably should have went to the bot lane and at least pushed that out, because that's going to give, even more pressure on this map. But it doesn't even look like that's going to matter. It looks like Flannels is going to be trying to push in this tier 2, push it up, and then just get FFM completely on the back foot, as we now seeing that like Gnome Reaper is starting to do so much damage, and it doesn't matter what you itemize against, because the other side of it is Dream Unforgiven on this way. So between him and this Gnome Reaper on this Smolder, like they have so much damage output, and the Red Cane, Leokis, and Mordecai, even though he's got a lot of deaths, has still just done such a great job at keeping all of these carries so safe and able to go into the back. And now we're seeing that like Aragon doesn't have the damage to deal with this, so
No.
Who is going to be able to answer these carries on the side of Flannels?
I don't know if they can. We will have to see. Blitzcrank rooted up, takes so much damage, burning down to the Smolder. Mordecai flashes over the pit. Mom over the top is going to poke him out a ton. Redemption going to have to come through. There's the life form disintegration rate. Oh, but Seal falls from a screen away to Dream Unforgiven. The way is just too clean, man. Baron's going to fall to Flannel Esports.
Yeah, and this is going to be their push to end. Now you have the Baron, you have the Elder Dragon, and like you said, Dream Unforgiven on this way has completely carried these fights in the later part of this match. The middle of the game, he got a solo kill on the Derpy, really showing that he really knows how to use this champion, and this is actually kind of impressive to see after playing Morgana and then going Hui. Like, this is kind of insane. Like, those are 2 completely different champions, and he's done such a great job on both of them, as now this is getting to Aragon getting caught out here as well. I don't think this is going to go well for you, buddy, but
yeah, unfortunate recall there. He's gonna burn down to the Elder for sure. Mordecai lands the death sentence. They're taking inhibs, and they're taking towers on the top side of the mid lane. Aragon falls just as the rest of his team is respawning. Flannels complete control of the map. They're gonna push in all 3 lanes and look to end this game right here.
yeah, and one mistake of mine. He played the Lux in game 2, not the Morgana.
Yes,
so,
yeah, he was on Lux.
Yeah, so
And Victor in game 1.
Yeah, so just really good job on his part here. Is they're gonna try to take Prismasire down here, but that Kane is so tanky. This is the play, right? Yeah, that's the Hail Mary play where you just try to catch
Yeah.
something, but your top lane is getting burnt down by a Smolder and a Camille. The only thing they can do now is try their best to turtle, try to get Flannels to overstep, and then just take advantage of it, and then just wait out timers. Wait out
Yeah.
for these inhibitors to come back. Wait out for the towers to respawn.
I don't think they're going to get a chance, though. Flannel Esports Zephyr, they find the death sentence onto Sigma. The Darius retreating away, but the Spiraling Despair does so much damage. Leoki's in on the backside with the Hextech Ultimatum, and the Darius dies once again. Aragon tries to make as much space as he can, but it is futile. His attempts, they fought hard, but FFM will fall. Flannel Esports Zephyr are keeping their playoff dreams alive here in Group B.
Yeah, and man, that was just like such a good comeback from them. They were losing on every single part of that map. Siafra and Crockpot were dismantling Mordecai with this Blitzcrank and Varus combo. They had Darius, winning up on the top side into Leoki's. Aragon was doing such a good job on on Maokai to get all of his team, but the one consistent thing in that entire game 3 was Dream Unforgiven, solo killing Derpy under his own tower. Derpy did get a couple back, and there was a little bit of back and forth, but this way damage 54k, 54.5k. Let's not skirted it at all. Just completely put the game on his back. Just really, really good job. And then also what can't be understated is Gnome Reaper's ability with a Blitzcrank and Varus in his face while Thresh was roaming, stayed alive and kept himself, like we were saying earlier, his stacks were like kind of low for the 20-30 minute mark. It wasn't already at his 225, but that's what's going to happen when your laner is roaming or dying or whatever. So really, really good job for them to just kind of like keep the pace where they needed it, get it to where they wanted it to be, and then eventually they scaled and then took over the game like just in very, very methodical fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dream Unforgiven so huge in both of their victories. A little invisible in their loss, but like was just sort of stuck on a pick with not a ton of agency. On these real control mages, does such a great job controlling space in these team fights, right? Pumping out the damage too, even from a long range. Like killed Siofra from literally like 2 screens away at that Baron fight. At the end, that's just straight up ended the game, right? Like I don't even think Siofra could see Dream on her screen and fell immediately. I also want to shout out Leoki's in both of their wins. Huge split push pressure, winning top lane so hard from lane in both of the first 2 games. Not quite winning lane the same way in the 3rd game, but using that split push pressure. Took, I want to say, at least 5, if not maybe 6 towers by himself this game. Like huge source of pressure on the Camille.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think, where it kind of fell down. Instead of playing to their their one sort of win con, which was the Darius that was finally ahead. Like Sigma was finally on a champion where he was ahead and he was winning. And if they would have kept that pressure, if Aragon and Sigma would have just kind of kept that pressure and, sort of like, they were already losing the dragons. Like, why are we trying to fight, these losing battles, into Dream when you could just be, giving your Darius the ability to take tier 3 towers and take inhibitors and create pressure, but instead he would teleport, join team fights that were already like too far gone. The Blitzcrank was working really well in the beginning, and then it just seemed like if it wasn't Mordecai on the Thresh, he just wasn't getting his target, and that just feels really bad. He's one of those high risk, high reward champions that just sometimes just doesn't work out.
Yeah, and it unfortunately did not in this game. For Fools 5 Mercenaries, who I will say after this loss are 100% out of playoff contention. They still have 1 more week to play, though, and could play Boiler. Now, for Flannel Esports, their playoff dreams are alive, but not quite locked yet. They will need to win next week against CBW. I believe no matter CBW's result this week, they will need 1 more win to lock their playoffs. But if they do win next week, I believe they should be locked for that last playoff spot.
Yeah, so they are going to be playing against CBW, and Fools 5 Mercenaries actually are going to be playing against Blight. So Malevolent Blight and Malevolent Bliss are both sitting 1 game ahead of them, along with CBW. So if they beat CBW, then that ups their chances. You just needed Blight to lose today to DPS, which
Yeah.
assuming that with how well Spartans has played, that would happen. And then Malevolent Abyss probably is not going to lose the Glacial Storm, so they will need a loss next week from Malevolent Abyss. Or no, today they're playing CBW. So if CBW won today, then it's going to be up to Flannels to take them out. If not, if CBW loses today, then they're going to have to win next week and hope that either Abyss or Blight take a loss. But either way, congrats to Flannels. Your playoff dreams are still alive, and well played by FFM to not just go down 0-2 and to fight and make it scrappy and have a lead in game 3. It's unfortunate you lost it, but your head should be up. You guys played really well, and just this far off.
Yeah, really, really close for Fools 5 Mercenaries. Shout out to CO for she was very, very clean in all 3 games, especially second and third games. Huge lane leads, really dominated those games. They've got some great players, but the solo lanes on Flannel Esports, just a little bit too much to handle. As we said, their playoff dreams are still alive, so stay tuned. Keep watching that document. See what happens next week for them. We will be back here next week casting the games just as usual. Again, I'm Mojo Powell. That's Phil. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good night.
Production, thank you.